Libtards Losing It. That's my wife in the background laughing. Because the stuff is funny with these libtards be up to and be thinking. You know, I'm not here to judge nobody because nobody's perfect. But when you got the septic nose ring and colorful hair, it's like a poisonous frog. You know what I'm saying? When they have bright colors, that's how you know a frog is poison. Like a bright orange frog, a bright yellow, neon color, whatever that color frog is. If it's bright, it's poison. And they come to these libtards when they hair color, it's like, chances are something wrong with them in the head. You gotta pray for them. Pray for them demons up out of them. Other than that, let's get into it. Deontay Rant and Rave, welcome, welcome.
$243. That's all the food stamps y'all gonna give me is $243 when the only thing that changed was my address. So I'm sitting here, I just moved. Mind you, in the previous county that I was staying in, I was receiving $800 and some dollars worth of food stamp. Okay? $870 some dollars. Okay. So now I done moved over here to the new place that I got now. And the only thing they giving me is $243. Something not clicking, Steven. Something is not clicking if the only thing that changed was my address. So I'm gonna need y'all to go to the back and recalculate.
Yeah, we're gonna recalculate that for you. And we're gonna recalculate it to none. Okay? We gonna make sure you don't get any food stamps, because to me it don't look like you're homeless. Okay?
What up, God 9? What up, what up? What up,
you got
everybody?
a vehicle
Happy
to
Monday.
get around in. You got your hair done.
That's right, baby.
Stop
MAGA
getting your hair
forever,
done.
baby. Ultra MAGA.
Why are
All day
you moving?
long.
Where'd that money come from? Sounds like you can afford groceries on your own. No food stamps for you.
Can someone please tell me if I'm in the right or am I in the wrong? Because right now I am sitting in my car with my service dog because I am not allowed back in the room with my daughter for her dental cleaning, which I normally am, but they told me because I have a dog, it's not sterile. It's a dental cleaning. I did look it up on ADA, and from what I read, they technically cannot deny me being able to go back there when I normally am just because I have a dog. Service dog.
Yeah.
Mind you, my dog is completely 10 out of 10, rock star, super being well behaved. There's kids jumping, kids scrunching up water bottles right next to his ear. He made an alert in the waiting area, and I'm sitting here in the car.
Bro, people with these service dogs, bro, annoy the crap out of me. This ain't the first time I've heard this, right? I get having a service dog. They're useful, whatever. And I'm a dog guy, right? I'm not a cat person. Don't like cats, personally. I'm a dog guy. So...
But we already know these people use these type of rules. They try to use the rules again, you know, to bend the rules. There's nothing wrong with them. Them service dogs is meant for special reasons, and people are going to abuse that. Like when it comes to like the landlord said they can't have no dogs. Oh, it's a service dog, so now the landlord has to, you know, honor that type stuff. But other than that, these people just be lying and scheming. Sad.
This ain't coming from somebody who doesn't like dogs. And I like big dogs. Your dog isn't going to be allowed in the dentist's office where people are getting their mouths clean. Dogs shed, they shake, fling slobber. Anybody who has a big dog knows that dog slobber. And when they shake, slobber gets flung all over the place. You love them anyway. But no, I don't want that in my dentist's office where people have their mouths open and tools are being stuck in people's mouths and all types of things. No. Nor do I want your service dog in a restaurant next to me while I'm eating. You know, like, no thank you. No thank you. If you really need a service dog that badly, stay at home. Eat at home. Get takeout. We don't want your pets our food, by our mouths. You know, like, I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. And, like, I don't know. Some people think that, like, dogs are humans, I guess. I don't know. And think that they could just take them wherever simply because they're a
I don't care
service
how
dog.
big and small the
No
dog
thanks.
is. You just can't do it.
And any place that allows pets like that in there, you know, where it's like a restaurant or a dentist's office or, you know, something like that, I'm not going. I'm not going. No thanks. And I'm a dog lover, okay? But still, dogs, I've witnessed my own dog, like, just doing some, stepping in his own poop. Like, come on, man. No, thank you. No, thank you. Licking their own butt, licking their own junk. Like, no thanks. No thanks.
No,
No,
thank you.
thanks. Mm-mm.
Oh, I got 3 more books that you faggots can read. Eve, how the female body drove 200 million years of evolution.
What up, Salty? What up, everybody?
Because God is not real. So, by the way, Witchcraft, A History of the 13 Trials, describes the incel movement that started in the 14th century by whom? The Catholic Church. Finally,
Libtards
last but
Losing
not
It.
least, by hands now known, Jim Crow's legal executioners. Get the reading, bastards.
No thanks. Call me Tom Brady. It's a hard pass. Hard pass. No, thank you at all.
I've been denied disability by the Social Security Administration. I knew this was going to happen. Despite me being diagnosed with craniocervical instability, cervical dystonia, which is a movement disorder related to Parkinson's. I have POTS. I have mast cell activation syndrome. I've been diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I've been diagnosed with chronic spontaneous urticaria and angioedema. Mind you, if I would have gotten approved, I would have literally only gotten $600 a month, which is not enough for me to even survive off of
Coconut
anyway.
Severe, what's up,
I've
what's up?
accumulated so much debt during this time since I've become disabled because I literally just cannot work. There are so many days I am not well enough to work. I'm not well enough to leave my home. And Social Security office, I literally waited like a year for.
She got time to dye her hair, get her glasses. She got time to get tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Got a haircut on the side. So she got time to do a lot of personal things to her body, but she can't go to work. All that stuff costs money, sweetheart. What's wrong with her? Freaking laziness it's insane.
this, and they denied me. And to even go through the appeal process, I probably have to get an attorney, and it will probably, for most people, like especially with my conditions, it can take up to 5 years to
Right,
get
look
approved.
how big she is. Right,
I don't
black
know
guy.
what
She
I'm going
gets
to
no
do.
meals.
Like, my bills don't stop, nothing stops. If you guys can just interact with this video in any way, like, please help me. I need to get something started on TikTok.
Is it just me, or are like all of these folks claiming to be disabled? Like all of these leftists, like every single one of them is like disabled in some kind of way, or at least they're claiming they are. Am I tripping? I feel like all of them, oh, I'm so disabled, I can't do this, I can't do that. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments.
Cap for life. What's up?
Oh my goodness, this whole Carmelo stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Carmelo got denied a retrial yesterday.
Yeah, played it yesterday. Played it last night. It's over
I'm not
for
gonna
him.
make a video on it. I'm tired of talking about that whole
over.
situation. Even though I haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but it's just like, bro, the man is guilty, bro. He's guilty. Like, you could see it on videotape. He admitted to it on videotape. Like, the man is guilty. You don't stab somebody because they pushed you. No, he's guilty. He got sentenced to 35. He's only going to spend 17. He'll be out. Okay? Maybe even before then. Who knows, right? But no, actually, it's a minimum of 17. Excuse me. He'll be out somewhere around 17 years. So
Maybe
he got
not.
lucky.
Come on, licking the blade.
He got lucky. Because I think was like up to like 99 years was
Right.
like the range of possibilities. So to only be 35 when it could have been 99, I think
You
he
could
got
have
off
less
pretty
than that.
easy.
He had
Got
a
off pretty
plea
easy
deal.
in my book, but of course, these pro-blacks, you know, they just, Carmelo, he's black, so he's innocent.
Both sides, Anthony Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony, both was bogus. You know what I'm saying? In their little heyday. They both shouldn't have went to jail. They shouldn't have died, but they both was agents of chaos. And some odd reason they ended up meeting each other. One go to jail, one is unalive. Crazy how this is going on. You gotta pray these demons, man. Pray for these people. Get these demons up out of them. And pray these parents pay attention to their kids. This is insane. Both these boys wasn't innocent. Nobody's innocent. But he talking about licking a blade after he stabbed somebody. I don't know. He might not get out.
It's just silly, man. Absolutely silly. But anyway.
Did anybody start the trend of white fatigue? Because I'm tired of going to work and having to pretend and smile and talk about the weather with my coworkers about stupid, and then to pretend that the problems that I have as a black American in America don't exist just so my coworkers can feel more comfortable. I be getting tired, yo. I be wanting to fight these crackers making all these wise cracks in front of my face like I'm not gonna do something just because I work here. Did anybody start?
Just imagine if a white person said that and made a video and posted it online. The outrage.
The chaos.
My goodness, man. My goodness. Wild times, man, isn't it? Wild times.
One thing about me, two things for certain, I love making white people uncomfortable. And by that, I mean, I love showing up in a space where white people are and they think it belongs to them. And I show up authentically myself, big and bold, ready to be seen. I'm not going to dim my life for no one. Tell me how I'm in nature. White boys sitting there, you know, it's for everybody to enjoy. I pull up with my music, but when white people see me, they see me with my music. All they can think is ghetto and disturbing. And I'm here to make the place ghetto and disturbing. Yes, I'm putting up my hammock and I'm going to enjoy this bitch just as much as you are. You're going to leave. Yeah, I'm going to make you so uncomfortable, you're going to leave. Yeah, I'm not moving. Yeah, I'm going to be ghetto and I'm going to be ratchet and I'm going to be as black as possible. Yeah,
You already black, you idiot.
Get uncomfortable, bitch.
Being ghetto and ratchet has nothing to do with being black, but okay. My goodness. You can't make this stuff up, man. You really can't. I mean, just look at the, like,
The nose ring.
look at the aesthetic. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Anyway, yeah. Another episode of Lefties Losing It, man. And they are for sure losing it. Saying some of the wildest of the wild things. And if a white person had said some of these things, these types of folks would have absolutely lost their minds. Gone bonkers.
Realize something very quickly, that the most racist people in the United States are benevolent white liberals. And the most racist thing that I have actually seen over the course of the past few years is the insinuation from white liberals that black and brown people are too stupid to get an ID to vote. It's called the soft bigotry of low expectations. And then as I have continued to grow up and I've continued to view this world, I've realized that if you have more in common, if you could find ways of what we have in common with people, the racial stuff breaks down very, very quickly if you just give people a chance.
Realize something. I will say this, and I say it on here, and I mean this to the bottom of my heart. The most racist individuals in this country are white liberals. The bottom line is this: white liberals don't want black people in their school to have school choice because if black people have school choice and black people can come up out of their condition of those lousy public schools. And yes, I call them lousy public schools. I didn't say lousy teachers. I said lousy public schools that stifle good teachers, don't pay teachers enough.
Underfunded, yeah.
And do not teach the right things. If they can get out of those bad schools and go to a great school, then this is what's going to happen. They're going to get a great education. Now he is competing with your children, Miss or Mrs. White Liberal, for the jobs that you have reserved for your children. And they cannot have that, and they do not want that. Again, it's all about keeping us separate. You stay over here in your failing school. You stay over here with Juneteenth. You stay over here with this. You stay over here with that. This is ours.
Wow.
This is not something you should be involved in unless we invite you in. Yeah. I sat in a school board meeting once, and former Governor Roy Cooper came in, and he came in and gave this wonderful grand speech about how great the public schools were and how everybody needs to go to the public schools. And then he had the nerve to say, I send my daughter to a private school, but I have the means. Basically, I have the means to do that. In other words, if you don't have the means to do that, sorry. Sorry, Charlie. And what I really wanted to scream at this man and say, you wouldn't have the means to do it if you weren't getting that government check you're getting from the state of North Carolina. You wouldn't have the means to do it, pal. I'm going to say this, and I say it on here, and I mean this.
This is one of the topics of discussion that I have been talking about for quite some time now. And that is the fact that it's not Republicans that are the racist amongst us. If there are any true racist amongst us, it's white liberals. It's white liberals. We've seen that time after time after time again. I remember when the whole ICE situation was going on, where Democrats were making it such a big deal. Wherever ICE went, they were protesting and doing the whole nine,
random
making
guy
a big
speech.
fuss.
What's up, bro? What's up?
And there was an instance, some of you probably
Happy
remember
Monday.
this, where there was a black ICE agent and a white liberal called a black ICE agent, the N-word with the hard R, and thought it was okay because he was doing something that she disagreed with. And my question to all of the liberals, to all of the Democrats who call Republicans racist, show me the videos of Republicans walking around calling black folks the N-word with the hard R. Because I could show you at least 2 videos right off the top of my head of white liberals doing it, and this is recently. Within the past year, probably. I've shown you guys matter of fact, I think I've shown you guys both of the videos. Obviously, I had to bleep out the part where she said the N-word with the hard R.
Most definitely, Tony.
Because it was 2 different white liberals,
we definitely got to
in 2
collide,
different
bro.
situations.
What day you want to do it? I'm off.
Matter of fact, I think one of them was a white guy. That called the black ICE agent the N-word with the hard R. So show me the instance of Republicans doing that. Exactly. I'll wait. I want to dive into this a little bit because I think it is right on point. It's white liberals, not Republicans.
Do you want to know why conservatives and Republicans hate white liberal women so much? It's because they need us.
No, Scarlett. The issue is your overt racism wrapped in a smile and a white savior complex. You've been conditioned to believe that nothing can succeed without you, that our progress requires your approval, your presence, and your guidance. And because your sense of value is tied to being needed, you've created policies and movements that keep people dependent on you.
Tony, when you want to collide, we can do something tonight. No problem. I'm here.
Because the moment a black person or a Hispanic person doesn't align with your value system,
Okay, how you looking about for today? You want to do something today?
one that positions you as the gatekeeper to our success, you flood our DMs, calling us traitors to our race. You police us like overseers. You put us in our place, and you chase us like slave catchers, trying to drag us back into dependency so you can keep calling yourself an ally. That's why people are done with white liberalism. It's not because you're powerful. It's because you need to feel like you are by any means necessary.
Do you want
Yeah, come on your channel.
Facts. white liberals think that they have to, or they're the only ones that can save us.
We got God for that. That's
Like,
Jesus. Jesus already did it for us.
Obviously, we can talk about the whole voter ID situation, how white liberals, for whatever reason, think that black people are going to, is going to majorly affect black folks. And I'm like, why would you say such a thing? You don't think white people would be affected, or Asians, or Mexicans, specifically black people? So what about black folks?
Perfect. It's 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 tonight. Yeah, I'll be ready for you. I'll get on your channel. Appreciate it.
You think we're too stupid to figure that out? How to get an ID? Or you think we're just all poor and can't pay for an ID? Like, well, what is it? Because if you guys remember Kathy Hochul, the Democrat governor of New York, you guys remember she said black kids don't know how to use computers? Now, the next day she tried to backtrack, obviously, because she received a whole lot of backlash for that, and rightfully so. But yeah, she said that. Now, imagine if Uncle Trump had said those exact same words. We'd still be hearing about that to this day. Imagine if Uncle Trump's...
I'll be ready for you. We're going to be on some random guy speak channel. I'll be his guest. I'll be the guest on his channel. No problem with me.
Said, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Joe Biden, then you ain't black. Imagine if Uncle Trump said those words.
Not a problem. Thank you for that.
We would still be hearing about it today.
Appreciate that.
But because a Democrat said it, Joe Biden, it's swept under the rug. Interesting how that works. As long as you're a Democrat, you can get away with being racist towards black folks. And that is part of the reason why I feel like there are plenty of racist white people, on the Democrat side. Racist white liberals. Because they're able to get away with it. Where was all of the news coverage and the stories covering these white liberals calling black ICE agents the N-word with the hard R? Because if that was a Republican, it'd be all over being...
No, the reason why it wasn't all over the place is goofy black people like D.L. Hughley, tap dancing, who else? These other people out here. The tap dancers, they were telling everybody, it was cool to be called a nigger because they ICE agents. They figured the ICE agents are Uncle Tom's, that house niggas. I'm looking like y'all bogus as hell. These people are risking their lives for the country because people are coming here bogus. They breaking the law getting here. They didn't come here the right way. They didn't broke the law. They broke the law coming here and they continue to break the law. Insane. But yeah, no, they was cool with it. I think it was the Breakfast Club or something like that. One of them shows. They was cool with them saying being called a nigga. They thought they deserved it. That's not cool. Nobody deserves to be called anything hateful.
Yes, now. It'd be all over the Communist News Network. It'd be all over all of these different networks. How many of them covered those stories? Did any of you hear about those stories outside of, me or some independent journalist covering it? Right? You didn't hear about that on mainstream media. Why? Because they were Democrats, of course.
Right, they kept it.
Which is also quite interesting, too, when you really think about it. The fact that, mainstream media tries so hard to prop up Democrats and yet they still lose is quite amazing. Quite amazing. But anyway, let's get into the meat potatoes of this. I have a clip from a rapper by the name of Boozy who spills the beans. Check it out.
All rednecks ain't racist. I'm going to tell y'all that now. Yeah, they got some rednecks. Yeah. Who just wild.
And y'all...
All rednecks ain't racist. I'm going to tell y'all that now. Yeah, they got some rednecks. Yeah. Who just wild.
Facts.
And y'all really got confused. See, the biggest racists don't really be those MAGA red hat, make America great again people. It don't be it be them bull-nosed, colorful hair, obese, victim-minded, white women. Them weird liberal white women. I'm not really big when it comes to politics and picking a side, but it specifically be them bitches are racist. I feel like some of these MAGA folks be like, stop being victims. Overcome what you've been through. Stop being victims. And I understand that can be a little irritating coming from white folks. But these liberal white women be like, you know what? Fuck yeah. You were a slave. You're still a slave. You're a victim. And guess what? Me too. I'm finna bite off of everything you got going on. And if you tell
Tony.
these
Yeah,
women
Ricky
that you're not,
Smiley and Al
or excuse
Sharpton.
me, these they them, that you are not a victim, you're not oppressed.
They
I'm
scared of the
actually
white
okay being
man.
black
Ricky
in America.
Smiley, Willie D. Correct. Thank
y'all
you.
remember that liberal white woman who called that black ICE agent a hard R? My mom used to tell me, you want to show a white person's true colors, just make them angry. Disagree with them. See, these MAGA folks gonna tell you how they really feel. They ain't really gonna hide from what I experienced with them on social.
Right, those are the names I was trying to get out. Thank you, Tony. Surrender Guy Speaks. Yeah, Ricky Smiley, Al Sharpton, Willie D. They was all cool with that. ICE being called niggas. They were telling their platform, that's cool. They not with us. They over there with them, calling us sellouts. And all along, they the ones selling out. They the ones tap dancing. They the ones still on the plantation.
Social media, because I don't really come across white folks who be representing MAGA like that in social media.
Right, all of them. Yeah,
they just be liking the black folks who like to be American. You know what I'm saying? You black American, you black American. Them liberal white women want you to go back to Africa. You know, them liberal white women want you to be oppressed. They want you to be a slave. Because whatever they feel like you may benefit from, they want to be able to get them a little bite off of it too. Because they're a victim, because they're being oppressed, because they really want to be a boy when they were born a girl, and they want to be able to be fat. I can't stand liberal white women. They are victims of everything. Victims of everything. And if you don't remain a victim yourself as a black person and speak on the civil and the things that our people fought for so that they can hop on board and say, yeah, civil rights. Y'all gotta understand, civil rights don't just apply to niggas no more. They are trying to use civil rights for everything, especially when it comes to the LGBTQIAGPQRNDWXY. When it comes to the immigrants, when it comes to the fat people, they're trying to use it for everything now. And if you as a black person don't hold them down, then you're going to truly see how they identify, how they operate, how they feel about it. I just get so tired of seeing liberal white women in their think pieces on the black community, you know, because they want to be, oh, I'm white, I'm pro-black, I'm pro-POC. And then when you come up here and you tell them some shit about your community that you know for a fact because you didn't study it, you actually lived it, they want to tell you that you're wrong. Cracker bitch, who is you to tell me about my people? Or you'll be talking and you'll say something like, you know, as a black person, I'm tired of how the system treats us. Here go a liberal white woman. As a woman, I completely agree. The system has been mistreating women like me and you so much. They just always gotta be the center, and it's just like a white woman. But it be them liberals. You know what I'm saying? It be the liberals.
I'm so glad they waking up.
It's the liberals. You know, it was funny when she brought up the whole being overweight thing. Like, oh, they just want to be victims because they want to be overweight and be obese. There was a quote by a former NBA player. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. His name is Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley. Shout out to Michael Beasley. And he said once was, what if tomorrow was somewhere that we had
you
to
can
go
put lipstick on a pig, but it's
in
still
order
a
to
pig.
have it?
Yeah.
You know how many people wouldn't make it? Like, in order to have another day, you had to go to tomorrow. Tomorrow didn't come to you. You had to go to it.
Talking about you that in the 70s. That's
however far that was, you had to, walk 10 miles to get to tomorrow in order to live another day. Imagine it was a place that we had to go to. How many people wouldn't make it? But we're so privileged that we get to sit on the couch and be 300 pounds because tomorrow is going to come to us. Man. You know, a recurring theme that I found with these liberals is that they're all disabled in some way, shape, or fashion. And they say this themselves. This ain't just me speculating. Like, they will tell you, no, I'm disabled, so I can't work. Or I'm disabled, so I can't work. I'm disabled, so I can't work. And it's like, hold on. How are all y'all disabled? What is going on? What are y'all claiming? There's no way that all of you are disabled. And so that's why the whole, what if tomorrow was a place that we had to go to, how many people wouldn't actually make it? You know? Because we're spoiled. Tomorrow comes to us, you know? Man. Was she not on point? She was on point. White liberals poked their heads in it.
Yeah, chat. It's a random guy speaks. This is his channel. Check it out. Subscribe to his channel. This is it. Yep. Get you guys with the lefties losing it from Sky News. Rhea, she be coming with it with the how the lefties be tripping. I love her takes on it.
As well, Cantor was just escorted out.
It's time for Losing It. Let's start with the activist movement posing as a sporting organisation. That's the WNBA, and they've decided to really lean into the trans activism by introducing a new non-binary mascot. Yes, meet Des, a butch, non-binary, blue-snapping turtle. Take that, Sophie Cunningham.
Des, the snapping turtle, was just introduced to the sold-out crowd in Scotiabank Arena.
Yes, that's the new mascot for the Toronto Temper. They really went out there and made up a new non-binary mascot to passive-aggressively attack Sophie Cunningham because she stood up for women and biological reality. The WNBA apparently doesn't know what the W stands for, but they know that unlike being mocked, the league, which is a welfare program essentially subsidised by the NBA, that never made a profit, don't even seem interested in making a profit. Earlier today, the WNBA ejected former NBA star and sometimes trans woman Ines Kanter Freedom from a game after he was verbally abused by Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud. Now, this man wants to play in the WNBA. He has nominated for the draft, and he's treated like this.
Chicago staying in it. Natasha Cloud.
Doofus, you keep coming to my chat. You keep coming to our chat. F your feelings, Doofus. Why you keep coming back to the back here if it's an issue with you? Insane. Can't get enough. That's crazy. Keep blocking them. They keep coming back like roaches. That's how you know we're doing something right. We're on the right side of the aisle.
Right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena after Natasha Cloud got that bucket.
Yeah, bring it back tomorrow.
She wanted her voice heard.
He'll probably come back better tomorrow.
We have talked about the conversations surrounding the W. That is Ines Kanter in the building today. And he has voiced how he's felt about the situation. Natasha Cloud voicing her opinion as well. Kanter was just escorted out.
Of course, the WNBA stands with Natasha Cloud, who has labelled US society as trash, who has said airstrikes against Iran are grounds for impeachment, and who claimed Charlie Kirk's killer was a far-right Republican when he in fact is a far-left radical. And talking about far-left radicals, let's hear from actor Rainn Wilson, who has most recently attacked the creator of The Office, the series that made him famous. He attacked Ricky Gervais, a man infinitely more talented and courageous than him. And now Rainn Wilson has shared more ill-considered opinions, claiming that Democrat weirdo James Tallarico is achingly close to Jesus.
Tallarico is Christian. That's the point. That it is his Christianity they hate.
Yeah, his brand of Christianity, which is so achingly close to
that's
Jesus'
the point I'm making, right? Like
Christianity.
Oh, really, Rainn? Is that the same James Tallarico who claimed that God was non-binary?
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary. In Genesis 1:26, God speaks of God's self in the plural.
Oh, God is a plural too, must have they, them pronouns. Surprised he didn't claim that too. He did claim that God is not Christian.
God is not a Presbyterian. God is not a Christian. God is not a noun at all. God is a verb.
Yes, achingly close to Jesus. Give me strength. Now we have some breaking news for fans of Lefties Losing It on YouTube. You can now support the show with a membership to our News 24 YouTube channel for exclusive members-only perks, including full episodes of the best program on all of Australian TV, The Rita Panahi Show. Yes, with the Rita Panahi Patriot Pack, you can take your support of the show to the streets with discounts on branded merch and bring it to the comments section with custom Lefties Losing It emojis for the YouTube chat. With the Rita Panahi Patriot Pack on YouTube, you will get less spin, more truth, and heaps more Lefties Losing It. Sign up now by hitting the join button under the video or visit news24.tv in your browser. Now, if you need further proof that privileged liberal women are amongst the biggest threats to the West, then look no further than the Lindsay Clancy case. A horrific case where 3 innocent children were brutally strangled to death, a case that should be above politics, but oh no, not for the leftist women who have decided Killer Lindsay is their new heroine.
An astounding show of support today for Lindsay Clancy. Hundreds of women, all dressed in pink, cheered the accused mom as she arrived in a police caravan for her murder trial. Supporters ran across the field to greet Lindsay. Some came with their babies. They held up heart hands during a silent rally for the mom who strangled her 3 young children, then jumped from the second floor window, leaving her paralyzed for life.
It's a buzz around here, guys.
Fox News legal analyst Chanley Painter, a former prosecutor, actually wore pink in her live report as she spoke to Lindsay's defense attorney, who was greeted with cheers.
Hey guys, what do you think of the support for Lindsay Clancy out here?
I have no words.
No words?
It's amazing.
You know, I remember the days before the modern leftist mind virus where public sympathy was reserved for the victims, where a self-confessed child killer wasn't cheered like some rock star, but loathed for their crimes. This is how women reacted when Susan Smith was on trial for killing her 2 sons by driving her car into a lake.
It's sudden. I mean, don't translate it. She can't be wrong knowing they cold and all the time knowing that they're in the bottom of this lake. There's no excuse. I would never forgive her for that.
Let's bring in documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, what is going on in the US? They have raised over $1 million for this woman who, let's not forget, she's a privileged woman. She had a nanny. She had extensive contact with mental health professionals. Now, I don't doubt that many of those mental health professionals may have failed her, but this woman sent her husband out, took the 3 children to the basement, and one by one, in front of each other, strangled them to death. It is absolutely horrific. And out of all the videos I have seen from her supporters, not one mentions those children.
Yeah, there's something really weird going on. I mean, supporting her is just, it's bizarre and it's weird, right? Look, let me get in a second. I'll get into the little more the science of it and how I think she's also in a sense a victim, right? The true victims, of course, are the children. But this idea that they're supporting her is, look, when you really start to listen to some of the language they're using, you hear them saying kind of the same refrain, that the healthcare system is to blame. Not Lindsay, but the healthcare system. And they're doing that for a very specific purpose. They're trying to make a political point saying that our U.S. healthcare system is garbage, and we need to move away from our privatized healthcare into a one-payer system like Europe, and that's the way we're going to solve all our problems, right? Never mind that our healthcare, forget about how one pays for it. She was able to pay for healthcare. She had healthcare coverage, and she did in fact see psychiatrists and psychologists. And by the way, I would argue our psychiatrists by many measures and metrics are better than Europe's. But they're trying to make the argument the U.S. healthcare system
He said
is too
women should be
failed,
able
so
to
they can
vote.
make this
Man.
point that we need to leave
Oh, yeah, most
the
definitely.
idea
6:30
of
tonight.
privatized
Definitely
healthcare.
be ready. I'm ready for
Look,
it.
I also think she is in a set. Look, do I think she is an evil, horrible person? I'm not sure that I do. Right? I think she probably did have and suffer from this postpartum psychosis, not postpartum depression, right? Two very different things.
Well, she was never diagnosed with that, Army. She was never diagnosed with that. And every single family annihilator, and they're normally male, we could make the same argument that they had a psychotic break, that they're not inherently evil, but we don't make that argument because they have committed a horrific crime against vulnerable children, and we put them in jail without this sort of fanfare that we're seeing, without someone being elevated to some sort of hero status. And I'm going to play you a clip of some of the women supporting Lindsay, and I've tried very hard to find examples where the women are a little bit more sane and measured. They're not just the screechy activists throwing ice cubes and emoting wildly on the internet. There's plenty of those videos. But if anything, I'm even more disturbed by these examples.
We're both from Tennessee. We love Lindsay and we're here to support her. I think we all agree that it shouldn't take for it to get to tragedy for us to listen. And maybe if someone had, Lindsay wouldn't be sitting where she's sitting right now.
She is pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity for killing her 3 young children.
I thought it was really important to bring my daughter to show her the importance of mental health awareness, to advocate for yourself, that women stand together, and it's just, so important for us to speak up and be here for Lindsay.
And admittedly, she did admit to killing them, but the woman you see now is completely different from the woman who did that to her kids. And I think it's really difficult for people to hold to truths that may seem opposite simultaneously. She can be a wonderful, loving mother, and she did this horrible thing that she was so sick. I mean, I've seen the testimony every day. I can see how devastated she is, and I believe her.
Army, there's a sickness there, a suicidal empathy that we see across so many issues, but I never thought I'd see it in a case like this. I thought something like this would be above politics, but this phenomenon we've seen of typically liberal women, privileged, educated liberal women, taking these often radical positions, it really is in many ways setting the agenda for the Democratic Party. If you look at the supporter base for the Democrat Socialists, for example, if you look at the supporter base of some of the most radical leftists in America, you see a lot of these women in that supporter base, and I wonder why they have gravitated to that position over many years.
Well, I think that all the numbers and all the polling show a great unhappiness among women over the last couple of decades, right? It's really shot up significantly. And despite the fact that of that same period of time, the position of women are much better by any metric they were decades ago, right? The majority of graduates from universities are women. Their pay is equal to men. They get custody in 99% of all the court proceedings. Their unhappiness has gone up, and I would argue the reason why is pretty obvious. At the same time, we've been pushing to women, girl boss it. You don't need a man. You don't need to be married. You don't need children. And women are, in fact, that you see a larger percentage of women doing that and following that path. And every polling, every data point shows that women are more unhappy when they're not in a loving relationship or have children. I think it's so obviously clear, and you're seeing that unhappiness manifested in all these weird ways, politically, on the internet, so forth and so on.
Now, Army, to the WNBA and their self-inflicted problems, former NBA centre Ines Kanter Freedom, who has nominated for the WNBA draft, has been thrown out of the WNBA game today. He was escorted out of Wintrust Arena during the third quarter. Apparently had a heated discussion with Chicago's
WNBA. I honestly tried to watch games. They keep saying, oh, it's technically better basketball. It's not. not better basketball.
She act like she gonna do something to dude. This dude is like 6'10". You know what I'm saying? Still in shape. What you gonna do to him? She nothing but a flop to this dude. She's all that's a stunt because she knew she had security in her team. They're gonna come around and push her back. All for theater. Straight dramatic. These are dramatic queens, drama queens. EBTs, get off their welfare. They ain't bringing no money, man. They gonna keep on complaining. That's why the WNBA just need to just go ahead and just end it. They ain't bringing no money, just chaos. And then when they do get the money, they messing it up. You got Caitlin Clark coming there doing her thing, and you want to hate on her. Angel Reese, they gave you the spotlight, Angel Reese, but your goofy self can't make a basket, can't even lay up, can't even rebound. You had the platform before Caitlin Clark came. You had it. Now you trash. Don't get mad. Do better. At least do better. She ain't even trying to do better. Angel Reese. Want to be in rap videos and all that. She ain't trying to be no hooper.
Sorry, it's just not. And by the way, I'm a fan of some of women's sports over men's sports. I prefer women's gymnastics over men's gymnastics. I prefer women's tennis over male tennis. I prefer women's mud wrestling over male mud wrestling. I do. So it's not all anti-women's sports. But look, they continue doing this to themselves, right? And they're digging their own grave. It's not like they have a large enough base where they have enough goodwill where they can create this controversy. They simply don't. They're really just now emerging from essentially nobody, very few people watching them with Caitlin Clark, and they're trying to kill the goose laying the golden eggs. It's what's so crazy about this. And by the way, again, this Enes Kanter thing, it's like, I love him. He's funny. It's performative art. I'm all for it, obviously. But by the way, he got thrown out of this game. Okay, first of all, he was met with derision and people attacking him outside the arena. Right-wing killer of Charlie Kirk, right? She threatened ICE and she called America trash. No, ma'am, you are trash. Sorry, that's the reality.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. She has so much form, and it's an activist league. And you talked about they are almost addicted to success. Well, they don't have to be successful because it's a welfare league. The NBA funds them. They've made a loss every single year. They'll make a loss again this year. They'll make a loss next year. There really is no incentive for them to actually be commercially successful because someone else is picking up the tab. So that's what you get when you've got a league where success isn't a KPI. Now, before you go, Army, I want to ask you about the ongoing conflict with Iran.
Well, that was stupid as hell. A merchant of death. This dude's known for, you know what I'm saying, a warlord, how you want to put it, for Brittany Griner. She should have known better about bringing some damn weed overseas. Should have kept her ass over there. Then her wife that she that was fighting for, now they getting divorced, or they divorced by now. Or if they got, either way it go, they divorced, or divorcing. And they supposed to have a baby together. It's great chaos. She should stayed in jail. So Brittany is a dude? I believe so. I done seen some of the pictures when she was younger by a pool, playing basketball by the pool with her shirt off, or his shirt off. I mean, like, yeah, that is a dude. This whole structure is a dude. Somebody lying, man. They brought a Joanna man in. But still, she still came and played good. Well, he came and played that good. Had a good college career, but came to the league terrible.
Post editorial today argued that even before Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sets out new US moves to pressure Iran's economy, things are looking increasingly grim for Tehran. President Donald Trump is clearly winning and mainly needs to hold firm as the enemy tries to wriggle out. Crucially, oil is now flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, meaning Tehran's gambit of closing it has failed, and the neighbours that Iran has been attacking have had enough. Its largest trading partner, the United Arab Emirates, last week cut off all transactions, including financial ones. Is that how you also see it, Army? Is the regime in Iran being weakened every day by this conflict? Because there are plenty of foreign policy experts who argue the opposite. They say the regime is becoming emboldened.
No, they're wrong. And I've been saying this over and over again. They kept saying that the critics of the Iranian war keep saying that time is on the Iranian side. And I've come on your show and said it a million times. That is such bogus. Time is absolutely not on the Iranian side. They're being devastated economically. They were devastated militarily. And we continue to get in a better position. Who would have thought that we would keep oil under $100 a barrel? It was far lower. The price spike has been at a far lower percentage than any other Gulf war that we have fought. They have absolutely made an enemy of all of their neighbors. And most importantly, we've broken the taboo of that we cannot attack Iran. Now they're just sitting ducks anytime the United States, Israel, or its allies want to go in there and clean up this mess. I do believe the regime is going to fall within the next 12 months. I do. And but the only thing that worries me, though, is that they're not emboldened, but they might strike. I think they may be an October surprise. That's my big worry. They were the originators of the October surprise, right? 50 years ago when they took the American hostages. I'm afraid they're going to do it again, try to create a wider conflict. I don't think it's going to work, but that's kind of my one last worry.
Army Horowitz, thank you so much for your time.
30 minutes ago update. Let's see.
Now let's.
The end of the Iran conflict is upon us. Listen to this.
Now we are entering the end game. At dawn begins an economic D-Day. This is happening.
The end of the Iran conflict is upon us. Listen to this.
Now we are entering the end game. At dawn begins an economic D-Day, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary. The economic pressure comes as the Iranian rial crossed $2 million to $1, a historic low for the country's currency. The head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council responded on X, saying if the economic war continues, not a single drop of oil will be exported, neither through the Strait of Hormuz nor anywhere in the Persian Gulf. Despite this statement, reports do indicate that crossings through the Strait of Hormuz are up 400% over the last 2 weeks. The United States is overseeing vessels out of the Persian Gulf through a safer southern passage. The passage does allow for millions of barrels of crude oil to be exported each day. Still, the Iranians remain defiant.
The fact that the United States has once again moved from military threats, saying that it will strike and so on, to reviving its old plans shows that they are truly desperate and have no solution when it comes to the great Iranian nation. Therefore, they keep bringing their old plans back onto the scene.
The U.S. naval blockade also...
Right, Lauren, and that's what I'm showing. What I'm saying at this channel, like, okay, you guys keep on talking about Trump and MAGA's a cult, but you guys not paying attention that the DSA people are literally telling you they saying F the Constitution, the president, and all that, even the Senate. They keep on attacking us because of our hats or what we believe in, who we voted for. I'm like, you people are insane. Wake up. Anybody that said they believe in the Bible shouldn't even be a Democrat, period, at all. How you a Christian and you a Democrat makes no sense. Democrat Party's all about evil. They want to kill. They want to steal. They want to hurt the babies. Telling the kids that's a boy, that he's not a boy, knowing he's a boy based on it because he know he is because his genitals. But they're going to tell you, nah, you're in the wrong skin. You're in the wrong body. Corrupt. This is mine. Want to stay in power. Insane, man. I don't see how you can't be a Christian as a Democrat. It makes no sense, man. Especially when it comes to they keep on believing in the past, which is victimhood, oppression. The Bible, the God we know, is not about oppression. Period. Jesus died on the cross for our sins, so we good to go. So nobody's oppressed, nobody's sold out, nobody's a victim. Man.
Remains in place as CENTCOM says 70 commercial vessels have been redirected since the blockade was reimposed.
So we have words from Iran's president. The Ayatollah is nowhere to be found. He may have fled the capital. Who knows? And then at the other end of this, we've got the U.S. naval blockade, which is the most successful blockade in history. And look at what else it's doing.
On Friday, President Trump doubled down on his position that the Strait of Hormuz is now U.S. territory.
They'll never have a nuclear weapon. They want to make a deal so badly. We don't even know if we won because I view the Strait of Hormuz is an American territory right now. It's an American territory.
Yeah, the U.S. totally controls.
And the TDS for Trump is crazy because they only hate Trump because of the news and the View, the media. Other than that, the man was everywhere. He was best friends kicking it with Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, other comedians. The man was with everybody. So many media said, turn on, okay, turn on Donald Trump, turn on Donald Trump. Same thing when it comes to the vaccine. Same vaccine that Trump put out. I ain't gonna take it. Biden and Harris, I ain't gonna take the shot. So when they got it in the office, they taking the shot. Now everybody's gotta get like 5,000 shots and wear like 5,000 masks. Crazy. As MAGAs or just conservatives, we didn't run out there and get the shots. We'll keep on putting our mask on. F that. That we would not comply, and we didn't. Pure blood. Yeah, we got some vaccines back in the day as far as growing up. But as far as just jumping for a shot because Trump said put it out there, we didn't. You guys did it. So when Biden got in office, you guys got y'all shots, went crazy with it. And still getting them. You guys are cold, not us.
The question remains, will this economic pressure lead to a new deal or a return to combat? Guys?
Maybe it leads to neither.
Trey, if we're going to put these sanctions on...
And then, we got 9/11 finna come up. And that's crazy how they got Madani, a Muslim guy, hit New York, insane. I believe America has something to do with 9/11 besides the whole Muslim and all that other trash. But it's like, to me, it's like very disrespectful and a slap in the face to have him being elected like that. Even though he had nothing to do with it. I know he had nothing to do with it, but the whole background of it did. And the way he's been talking lately.
Presumably, they're going to be on other countries that deal with Iran.
Yeah,
if they
this is
trade with
happening
Iran,
today.
they're going to be subjected to our sanctions. So that means Pakistan. Because Pakistan set up straight up with their own trade deal with Iran. That means Turkey, who set up their own trade deal with Iran.
Yep.
People are focused on China and Russia, but these other countries are going to be in the line of fire.
Right.
And that's kind of a tenuous situation.
And remember, some of these other countries were acting as quote-unquote mediators during the ceasefire, which led absolutely nowhere. So maybe we don't go back to combat. We don't go back to a deal. We just go down the path that Iran seems to want, a path of total isolation. Listen.
And this does come on the heels of what are expected to be massive economic sanctions against the regime. The second thing has to do with what President Trump said earlier this month. He indicated that any country around the world that is doing business with Iran, providing sanctions relief, or trying to get around these economic measures would face economic consequences of their own.
Nobody wants
that. So the United States is trying to put into place here a program that will not only pressure Tehran, but will also deter allies of the Iranians from doing business with the regime. The goal here is to economically isolate the Iranians from the rest of the world and try to get them to change their behavior. But we have to look at the situation on the ground. We have been stuck in this cycle in the region of strikes and statements with no end in sight.
Because up until now, there has been no enforcement of the U.S. sanctions that are already out there. What if we learned about U.S. sanctions over the last several months and several years? They are absolutely worthless if there is no will to enforce them, but that just changed, and now they're ramping up. Listen.
We want to make clear here today that no one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions. That if they facilitate transactions and are part of the ecosystem that turns Iranian oil into money, into repression, they will be targeted. We find that the best way to engage with countries is through quiet diplomacy, and we are level setting with every country to tell them our expectations. We know who they are, they know who they are. So when the hammer of U.S. Treasury actions falls upon them, they will have no one to blame but themselves.
So that's what this is about. This is about the sanctions evasion machine that has always existed because of Iran's natural resources, which other countries want for cheap. And there's been these little games behind the scene with all these mediators in these other countries that have an interest in this and want the U.S. to fail so that they can still get that oil cheaper than they're supposed to get it, while enabling a regime to hold its own people hostage. But listen.
In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains this tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone. And they have been at war against America, their neighbors in the Gulf, and much of the world for 47 years. President Trump has taken action that his predecessors have long deferred. And under his leadership, America is no longer managing the Iranian threat.
But now many people have the question, why is this happening now? After all of these negotiations and after all of these ceasefires and after 2 separate military campaigns, well, this all has to do with Iran's last pieces of leverage evaporating. Listen.
When we look at the levers that the Iranians still have to pull, there were some interesting statements over the weekend where some top IRGC officials were talking again about the country's nuclear program and hinting at the fact that they may try to advance what remains of that program.
That would be terrible.
But when we look at the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians continue to say they are in control of the strait. The reality on the ground is very important to look at. The crossings to the Strait of Hormuz are up 400% over the past 2 weeks, but they're still down about 90% from pre-war levels. What the United States has been able to do here on the side, which is quite interesting, is oversee vessels that were previously trapped in the Persian Gulf safely through this southern passage out of the Strait of Hormuz. And this is allowing millions of barrels of Gulf crude oil from U.S. allies, not from the Iranians, to be exported. And it's undercutting Iranian efforts to maintain control over this critical waterway.
And that was the last piece of leverage they had. Remember, their first piece of leverage was them telling U.S. negotiators that they had enough material for 11 nuclear weapons. They told people that before this whole epic fury thing started. Then they thought they had enough leverage with their conventional arsenal, their ballistic missiles, and their Navy to create a conflict that was so widespread that the rest of the world wouldn't want to be involved. But that didn't happen, and now their control over the Strait of Hormuz is non-existent, and that is obvious to the entire world. So now as the U.S. Treasury Secretary moves to cut Iran off and isolate them financially, every country that was doing business with them will be able to look at this situation and say, there's not a whole lot here that we see a future in.
They've shown America's resolve to finally end this threat.
And the rest of the world sees that.
The strength of America's economy under President Trump allows us to wage this sustained financial operation alongside the might of our military. Iran now faces a very clear choice with only 2 paths before them: complete global isolation and a subsistence economy, or a path back to normalcy with an opportunity to rejoin the global economy. Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime. Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime. We are enforcing a zero leakage approach. There will be no minimal breathing space for the regime to rebuild its capacity to inflict terror against America and the world. The final refuge of this regime is the mistaken conclusion of nations that still finance the Iranian threat in the hopes of evading it.
And hoping that eventually this whole campaign and the blockade go away so they can go back to getting oil and helping Iran evade sanctions. And many of these countries themselves want to evade U.S. sanctions. But here's the problem for Iran. The Treasury Secretary says there's two paths. One is to become a nation that farms what it needs to survive, and that's it, and has no industrial base, is not an oil exporter, and has no ability to modernize. And if that's the path Iran wants, with the regime on top of that, well, it sounds like the U.S. has resigned itself that may always exist. The other path, if they want to get back and plug into the world economy, is to do it on the proper terms, which is going to mean the end of the regime over there as we know it, and finally freedom for the Iranian people. Listen, but just before we continue, think to yourself about what passes through your family's group chats on a weekly basis. School pickups, vacation, getting that information that belongs to you.
It is no longer acceptable to operate in the gray spaces of this conflict. Countries cannot claim they are blind to enabling this activity.
They're enablers.
Iran's enablers purchase, transport its petroleum. They facilitate the flow of its finances through exchange houses and free trade zones. They welcome Iran's flights and maintain registries on its behalf. They turn a blind eye to seaborne fuel transfers and overland transits. They condone illicit use of their banks, all the while concealing the extent of their complicity. The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interactions with the regime.
That's it.
We are already seeing results. Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message.
This is historic, and it's coming at a moment when Iran's regime has been weakened by a military campaign and by a blockade, and now every single person that was out there helping them is going to look at this situation and say, I don't want to have my hands on this because I don't want to be drawn into the losing side of this whole arrangement. Listen.
Yeah, well, if anybody can do this, it's Secretary Besson. He comes into this position with lots of experience, lots of determination, and obviously he's really very smart and clever at how to do this. Countries like Iran and Russia have always developed a workaround to sanctions.
Yep, that's why they never worked.
Even countries that are abiding by the sanctions, after a few weeks, they have a tendency to throttle back.
Yeah.
And it really takes U.S. enforcement and supervision, day in, day out, hour by hour, to make certain that those sanctions are really being executed. And that takes a whole team to do something like that. I'm assuming he's putting together even a larger team, more like a task force, to be able to accomplish this. What he's actually saying here is that all trade and all business with Iran will stop.
Wow.
That's what he's trying to enforce here. I don't think that has ever been tried before. If anybody can accomplish that, it is, in my judgment, it is this man.
This is crazy.
And just to give you a sense of how complicated this is, Pakistan and Turkey, in the month of August, this very month, have entered into an agreement with Iran to increase their trade.
Wow.
The UAE handled all of their financial arrangements for years, all during this war period.
That's so wild.
And that adds the complication to it. Now, the UAE has voluntarily severed all relations with Iran.
Yep.
And our audience can say, well, why is this? Why are the allies supporting them? Why are our partners supporting the Iranians like this? And the list is much longer than I described. Well, they take the note from us. For 50 years, we've had an appeasement strategy.
Right. For 50 years, the United States has said, okay, Iran, we're just going to let them do their thing. If they want to threaten our country, if they want to support proxy groups that want to threaten our allies, if they want to do things to America that are not good for America while threatening to go even further, we're just going to let it happen. And if you're Iran's neighbor, you're looking for leadership. You're saying, well, gee, my neighbor over here is hostile and militant and might be dangerous. But the United States, they say they care, but their actions don't show that they care. They keep putting sanctions on them, and then nothing happens. And then every once in a while, they get a president that wants to just airdrop pallets of money into their country and keep them afloat.
Obama,
so how seriously can I, as a neighbor who's kind of caught in the middle of this whole thing, look at what the U.S. says and what it actually does and conclude that there is any seriousness here? That has all changed. The UAE, just a couple of days ago, severed all of their ties with Iran.
You gotta start with this TDS. What's your name? Chase? Stop with the TDS, man. So you cool with the socialists, with the DSA bullshit, trying to bring in Sharia law? So you cool with that? How the hell is Trump trying to destroy America and these people trying to bring in Sharia law? Are you fucking paying attention, man? I'm paying attention, I see. Must be a beta male.
So actual leadership is on the table, and that means that this time things are going to be different. Listen.
With them, we tried to make deals. We did all sorts of things with this regime.
Right.
We never confronted them until this president did.
I know.
And then, yes, that's going to take a behavior change on their part, Bill. They're going to have to cooperate, and we're going to have to get tough with some of our allies and the partners to make sure they contribute to this isolation of Iran. The second and third parts of this is the blockade, which we've talked about and how successful that is. All of the revenue sources that Iran gets from trading through their ports is shut off.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, and we're talking about the success it's achieving, is opening up the Straits of Hormuz off the coast of Oman. The task force from the 82nd is doing that for the CENTCOM commander, and they're increasing that traffic through there. 200 last week, 150 the week before, less than 100 the week before that.
Here's the thing you got to understand. We don't know the full scope of the traffic that is coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. We can have people who give us numbers and who make statements about how it's up or how it's down, but the thing is, a lot of these ships, they're coming out with their transponders turned off, which means they've gone dark. We don't know where they are. No one knows where they are. The ship isn't going to call CNN and say, hey, guess what? We just made it through the Strait of Hormuz. Go Trump. Right. That's not going to happen. We're not going to get that information. That is secret information. These ships, nobody knows where in the world they are. All we know is what the price of oil is doing. And it's not $200 to $300 a barrel, which is where everybody predicted it would be. And notice how everything's happening in the right order. First, you have the military campaign to disable the regime's ability to threaten its neighbors, to threaten Israel, to threaten the United States. Then you have the blockade, which began the process of isolating Iran economically. And as that happens, these partners that are under new scrutiny from the Treasury Department of the United States, their ships can't get to Iran. They can't do business with Iran. Their ability to help feed a regime that is hostile to its neighbors and its own people and the rest of the world is totally cut off. And now here come the financial sanctions. This whole thing has happened in the right order. It's taken a lot of patience on behalf of the American people to watch this whole thing play out. But from the beginning, the operation here has never been anything other than siege warfare. And now we're in the final stages of that. Listen.
Moving in the right direction, still a far cry from 130 ships per day transiting through there. I'm sure the market is seeing the trend is moving in the right direction. So we're on a path here to bring Iran to its knees. That's what Secretary Besson has in mind. He actually talks about it collapsing. The truth is, nobody knows. Where is Iran coming from? Bill, they fundamentally, this is their leaders who run the place. They believe they can outlast the United States here. They don't care about the suffering of their people. They're willing to make sacrifices themselves.
And why would they not think that? For 47 years, they have outlasted the United States. For 47 years, just as their neighbors have wondered if the U.S. was actually serious or was just bluffing, Iran has known the truth. There has been nothing but appeasement from the United States. And sure, we've had presidents who might have been tougher on Iran than other presidents, but they've outlasted them all. Why would they look at the future and think it's going to play out any differently than the past, especially when each U.S. president's only around for a few years? Besides, Trump was president once before. His attitude towards Iran hasn't changed, but they already outlasted Trump in his first term, and they think they can do it again. They are convinced that they're going to do it again, but that might be a major miscalculation on their end. Listen.
And they consider victory surviving. And if that is the only thing that you want to achieve here, they're going to go as far as they possibly can. They don't even know themselves how far they can go. We're going to find out here as we move down this path. And if they do what I think they're likely to do, which is increase the violence to demonstrate that this plan of President Trump's is not working prior to the midterms, then the president will respond.
And that's the miscalculation right there. The thought is that as the United States rolls out these new plans, this economic D-Day as it's being called, things are going to happen. There's going to be a whole bunch of announcements. There's going to be all this high-level praise for what the United States is doing. And then Iran is going to play their last card, whatever that is. They're going to do something to make it look like none of this is working and that they are stronger than ever, which is what they are saying to their own people. And then what's going to happen is all of America's enemies, both in the mainstream media and on the socialist side of our country's politics, the socialists that want to take over, they're all going to say, yep, Trump's failed. Trump has destroyed the American people. Trump has created an affordability nightmare. He's tanking the global economy, and he's taken us all down with him. Iran has just proven to us all that they're all still here, but it will be fake, because reality is they have massive inflation. Reality is they do not have control over the Strait of Hormuz. Think about that for a second. Every day they say, we control the Strait of Hormuz, not one drop of oil is getting out. Oil continues to get out. We can see it in the oil prices. And now look at this. U.S. forces are clearing mines. They're making sure the strait stays open. These operations can't happen if there is a massive military threat the world's never seen before that puts all of these ships and all of these vessels and all of these people at risk. So we've got words and we've got actions. The actions show that oil's not $200 to $300 a barrel. Actions show that this area of the globe, the Strait of Hormuz, is more of a U.S. territory that likes to joke about than it is an area firmly under Iran's control. And the fact they've lost their leverage is now obvious to everyone. Here comes the Treasury Secretary with
the clock just started ticking.
Live breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, it has now begun. President Trump has just launched economic D-Day against the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and its terroristic regime that has destroyed this country today. You heard Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent say the clock just started ticking. He just gave a speech in front of the whole world. He spoke for about 30 to 45 minutes. He took some questions. I'm going to share with you the top, I think, highlights of it, which really exemplify everything that's going to be happening and enacted to quell this terroristic regime from spreading and causing more damage and chaos.
Welcome to the chat. Name is Deontay. Like, share, and subscribe. Deontay Rant and Rave. Thank you guys for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Facts over feelings.
And wait till you hear, because he also takes a few questions from the fake news. Wait till you hear what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says about China. That's right. It's China. It's not racist at all. That's where it comes from. It comes from China. That one blew me away because, woo, Nelly, did he have some very strong, this was a very sobering, strong, poignant, composed, articulate, impactful presentation by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. A lot of people talk about Scott Bessent, and a lot of people don't, actually, when it comes to 2028. But gosh, you know what? We just have an amazing America First cabinet, and I would not be surprised. A Vance Bessent ticket,
Thank you, Dakota. I saw
a
that.
Rubio
Appreciate
Bessent ticket.
know.
That could be a
Appreciate that. I saw that, man. Thank you for everybody know that I'm live. I really appreciate that. You guys are a blessing. Let's get it.
potentiality. I've talked about Todd Blanche. I've talked about Pete Hegseth. I've talked about Gabbard. I've talked about other amazing notables. Maybe RFK Jr. might make a run. Who knows? But we just have an amazing America First cabinet. Free poll. Who would make an amazing ticket for 2028? Vance Rubio, Rubio Vance, Bessent, is he in there? Is Blanche in there? Let me know in the comments down below. Here's what President Trump just posted. President Trump, right above me, you can see, just posted this. Iran is completely collapsing. This was just a few hours ago. You can see the date. Here, let me zoom out a little bit. August 24th, 2026. This was literally just a few hours before Scott Bessent said this. Check this out.
Today, at President Trump's direction, the United States Treasury has begun Operation Economic Outcast, an unprecedented campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains this tyrannical regime until Iran stands alone. Iran's fanatics devote themselves to...
Hey Clayton, we don't care about Trump in his diaper, man. This ain't that type of channel, man. If you fantasize about Trump in his diaper, man, you can go somewhere else with that, man. We don't care about that at all. We're adults in here. Period. Take that and you're feeling somewhere else. If not, welcome to the chat. That was stupid. Who cares about him wearing a diaper? That was the stupidest thing ever.
Death to America and seek nuclear weapons to do just that. They have murdered and maimed more of our
Hey
citizens.
Clayton, how about you just watch the video and don't say nothing in the chat. Just watch the video, take your mask off, take off your frog suit, and enjoy the video. You don't gotta respond. Just sit there and relax.
Members than any other terrorist regime on earth. And they have been at war against America, their neighbors in the Gulf, and much of the world for 47 years. President Trump has taken action that his predecessors have long deferred. And under his leadership, America is no longer managing the Iranian threat. We are ending it. Our great armed forces have laid the groundwork for achieving the president's objective of preventing Iran from ever obtaining nuclear weapons. They've shown America's resolve to finally end this threat. And the strength of America's economy under President Trump allows us to wage this sustained financial operation alongside the might of our military.
I heard Clayton
Iran now faces a very clear choice with only two paths before them. Complete global isolation and a subsistence economy, or a path back to normalcy with an opportunity to rejoin the global economy. Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime.
They always pick good names.
Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime. We are enforcing a zero leakage approach. There will be no minimal breathing space for the regime to rebuild its capacity to inflict terror against America and the world. The final refuge of this regime is the mistaken conclusion of nations that still finance the Iranian threat in the hopes of evading it. It is no longer acceptable to operate in the gray spaces of this conflict. Countries cannot claim they are blind to enabling this activity. Iran's enablers purchase, transport its petroleum. They facilitate the flow of its finances through exchange houses and free trade zones. They welcome Iran's flights and maintain registries on its behalf. They turn a blind eye to seaborne fuel transfers and overland transits. They condone illicit use of their banks, all the while concealing the extent of their complicity. The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interactions with the regime.
And that was just his opener. Holy macadamia nuts. So there are no gray spaces. This is essentially our administration finally laying down the gauntlet. You're either with us or you're against us. And I can't help but think he is directing that towards the two biggest adversaries that we probably have who can compete with us in any sense. We don't really have any competition. There's been a lot of countries besides that have undermined us. I mean, President Trump mentioning, Kim Jong-un and him have a great relationship and removing, saving American taxpayers billions of dollars by removing military entities in South Korea. Why? Because South Korea wouldn't help us. Italy wouldn't help us. France wouldn't help us. The UK wouldn't help us. And as Trump has said many, many times, they wouldn't help us until the very, very last second when everything was already done. And even Trump says, we don't need your help now. We needed your help in the beginning. We've been giving these guys trillions of dollars through NATO and other entities, international entities, protection, security, reinforcement, backup, oversight, regulatory bodies, military training, military equipment, God knows what else. food, agriculture, engineering, software, data, tech. We've given you guys everything.
Damn.
Where's the reciprocity? You see, the liberals, the Bidens, the Kamalas, the Obamas, they were okay with this. Well, that's just us. We're America. We'll have our people carry the entire weight, carry the entire boulder up the hill while you guys just coast. It's that welfare freeloading mentality that is created now, the DSA, which is a communist entity. So I can't help but think that is a direct threat, maybe not a threat, but a direct strong, assertive statement saying, we're talking to you, China. We're talking to you, Russia. Here is Scott Bessent mentioning, this is another clip, major sanctions against over 60 entities worldwide who are aiding the Iranian regime. Check this out.
Is also sanctioning over 60 entities, individuals, and vessels around the world that enable the Iranian regime to procure illicit nuclear and missile technology, conduct cyber operations, and generate oil revenue. This is a sustained campaign to collapse every last option for Iran. Let there be no ambiguity as to the position of the United States. An economic engagement of any kind with this murderous regime will expose those responsible to the full reach of American power. For decades, this regime has drawn strength from a calculus that regards Iranian retaliation as certain and American enforcement as negotiable. Under President Trump, that era is over. To the ordinary soldiers supporting this regime, as more and more of your paychecks stop or are supposedly just delayed, ask whether your commanders are leading your country to triumph or to ruin. And recall that the Berlin Wall fell when ordinary soldiers decided not to shoot at their own people. And to those who enable Tehran, do not discount the cost of testing Washington's resolve. No nation should expect to enjoy the rewards of our system while helping those who seek to destroy it.
I mean, folks, it doesn't get any more powerful than that. Enough is enough.
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
That clip right there.
Appreciate it.
Saying that nobody's going to get away with this. There is no ambiguity.
Thank you.
We're not messing around. We're done playing games. And it's the same thing that's happening with Canada. I did a video on Canada yesterday where PM Carney, who's a massive globalist leftist who's trying to destroy his country by fighting us and disengaging with any negotiations as far as them out-tariffing us for decades by hundreds of percentage points while we get nothing in reciprocity. I mean, it's almost as if, you know what's happened, guys? Trump, who's a builder, he's a go-getter. He is kind of comes from the lineage of the Theodore Roosevelt. They're like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is going on here? You guys think you can push America around? Do you know who we are? It's like daddy's home. Like, who was in charge here? Oh, you had a couple of spineless, feckless wimps who were getting something under the table, just a bunch of cockroach criminals. This is the United States of America. You want to F around? You're about to find out. And the beautiful analogous anecdote that he mentions about the Berlin Wall, the reason the Berlin Wall fell is because the soldiers refused to shoot upon their own people, is a direct call to action, a direct CTA to the soldiers of Iran. Choose. Do you want to save your country, or do you want your country to be utterly obliterated? We're done playing games. You don't push around America.
Nope.
If you want to F around, you're now going to find out. America, this is a day of rejoice. This is a day to celebrate. This is a day to beam with American pride, because the gentleman behind me who had the balls to say, no, enough is enough, we're sick and tired of this tyranny, is the same spirit that resides in our beautiful, amazing, proud, bald eagle, star-spangled stripes and banner, gusto and zest American administration taking care of business today. Oh, it just makes me so proud. I love this country. I love America. America, I love you with every molecule inside my anatomy. If you're with me, Give me an amen down below. Okay, check this out. I'm sorry, I get too into it. I get too riled up.
Train Will, welcome to the chat.
I just love America, man. And
what's
I
going
love
on
it's the
here?
greatest country God and man has ever conceived. And I'm going to
If you're
defend it
turning
with
your ears,
every
your
last
eyes,
breath.
go to another channel
We
then.
owe that to
Maybe
the people
Deontay,
behind
welcome.
me
Conversation
and all
channel.
of our fallen, amazing heroes
Adults
who
are in the
sacrificed
room.
everything to make sure that we have. There
Adults
is
are
no
in the
freedom.
chat.
There is no land of the free without the brave. Okay, here's a clip of Secretary Bissett making it crystal clear that China is not exempted from punishment if they work with Iran in any way. I'm getting chills. This clip right here is so amazing. But really quickly, just write it. I'm going to show you this clip, but please check out this amazing message under 60 seconds of our amazing sponsor of the video. Medicare is not only confusing, but it's very fraught with fraud, which is why I'm helping you find the peace of mind. And tell him Professor Nez says hello. Okay, here is Scott Bessent talking China.
One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to impose secondary sanctions on banks and financial institutions that facilitate transactions for Iran. Chinese banks have often been talked about being targeted, but we don't see any of those institutions targeted here. Is that something that is coming in this campaign, or is the very delicate trade truce with China something that could prohibit you from going that far and taking that very big step?
We want to make clear here today that no one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions. That if they facilitate transactions and are part of the ecosystem that turns Iranian oil into money, into repression, they will be targeted. Wow. We find that the best way to engage with countries is through quiet diplomacy, and we are level setting with every country to tell them our expectations. We know who they are, they know who they are, so when the hammer of U.S. Treasury actions falls upon them, they will have no one to blame but themselves.
Oh, I love it. This is strength. Yeah. This is resolve. This is power. This is the United States of America, man. You don't mess with us and think you can get away with it. I don't care what kind of deals we had in place. I don't care what kind of agreements we had in place. We're serious. We mean business. We're not messing around. Playtime is over. Oh, I love this administration. Can we please have this administration for like another 10 years? Oh, I love it. I want it. I want him to be a king. I want him to be a king for at least another 10, 12 years until we really fix everything. I'm just so worried that, as much as I love Vance and Rubio and these other amazing all-stars, there's just nobody like Trump. Trump said he stipulated every aspect of this economic outcast launching, this inaction right here. He went over every single parameter with his entire team, and he probably said that's not harsh enough. I want it to be harsh enough. Nope. Make sure you say China can't get away with it either. Quite frankly, possibly the worst. I think he is one in a billion. This is like the re-spiritualization of Teddy, Theodore Roosevelt. I mean, I haven't seen a president with this kind of balls since that man. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this and everything else. What do you guys think? Now, before we go, share this everywhere. Tap the thumbs up if you love America, which I know you do. Before we go, I just want to say this. Iran did say, at least the IRGC, that if President Trump and the United States take these actions, because President Trump has threatened economic D-Day for a couple of days now. Now the clock starts. That they're going to retaliate with devastation. So, quick poll. Do you think the IRGC are going to submit, finally surrender, finally give up? Or are they going to follow through with their ridiculous statement? Was that just hubris, or are they going to actually follow through? Let me know what you think.
What's up, y'all? For the ones in the back that came here, stop making them false narratives. I love my people. When you talk about slavery, our ancestors been through so much, and we're not going to forget it. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to tell y'all is, even though we're going to always be aware of it, but we have to do something to bridge the wealth gap. That's what I'm saying. We can't change the past, but we can change the future. And we're going to constantly fight and educate our people. But I want to let y'all know, Apple is making $32 million an hour. How do we get a piece of that? Because we need to be able to bridge the wealth gap. That's the only thing I'm saying. And that's the only way it's going to happen, is to educate our people, to educate our culture. And that's what I'm doing.
Boy. So we got to talk about rapper Master P, who is catching some backlash for telling black people that they need to get over slavery, and it's not about race, and stop being a victim when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, and success. Okay, that is what Master P said in an interview. And of course, the pro-blackities are upset by this because black people are not supposed to get over slavery, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Somebody look like us say, hey, how come we don't own our own tennis shoe? But Nike started out of their garage. Like, Phil Knight started out of his garage. And I tell people all the time, look, it's not about a color. Like, think about it. Even though when I help black-owned business, I'm doing that because we at the bottom of the totem pole. But we want to create product for everybody. This product is for everybody, blacks, white, Asian, Latino. But you don't have too many black-owned companies. Like, show me how many black-owned tennis shoe companies out there that's making functional shoes that actually own it. It's not that many. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So when I find a problem, you know, my passion get like, I need to do this. I got to show the world. In the food industry, I realized that we didn't have enough healthy alternative foods for us. So I found a problem. I created Miller Family Food. I said, well, you know, I got to make healthy alternative food, snacks, everything.
Is that based out in New Orleans?
I used to be racist, but
so I was inspired by going to
Tulsa,
Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, you know, in the Black Wall Street 1920, what happened to our people, and it's like you had so many successful, rich black people, and it was burned down. But I met this guy that owned a grocery store called Oasis.
Yeah, E.J. Johnson.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my food in your grocery store, and I'm going to support you. We support all these other companies, but why not support Oasis and AJ?
He's doing good stuff in the community, and what you know about that store, as I've been down there, is that the predominantly of that area that's white is poor individuals, who, you know, and so I love the work that he's doing. But when you think about, again, being yourself, what's been the biggest surprise of the stardom? I mean, you've been in this game for a very, very long time. What's been the biggest surprise about it all?
Our own culture don't believe that we could do it. You know, because they just don't get it. They like, how you could do this? I mean, like, if I could.
I got 2 videos I'm gonna play for you guys. You know, hope you guys like it. On the real, it's about this whole thing, about this whole slave mentality. Slavery is a choice. We gotta break it. We gotta stop it. Understand the past, but it should not make your future. It should not be, the past should not be your future. We gotta be stuck. And I can relate to that. My older brother, he couldn't let our past go. I grew up in a foster home. He grew up with our parents, with our relatives. But he grew up, kept on talking about the past. I'm like, Drew, you gotta let it go, man. You gotta do better. But yeah. Yep, sad. He passed away about 2 years ago, colon cancer. Got the ashes on my chain. But he wanted to listen, he wanted to do better, kept on standing in the past. And then because of that, it corrupted him. Sad. But all is well. For how long I'm going to be on, I'm going to say 20 more minutes, like 25 more. Well, as far as this video I got going on, overall, probably about 30, 40 minutes, Dakota.
Do it. Anybody can do it. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be a rocket scientist.
Welcome,
you just got to have integrity and do good business. And these doors will open up for you. Building great relationships. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, trying to get that negative mindset out of our culture, because they still going back to, oh man, slavery, they did us this. And I'm like, you still harping on that, man. I never harped on that. because I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And I think you got to get used to us being successful. And
Thank you, Black Guy. Now,
a lot of us,
that.
we block our own blessings because we don't think that we could do it because we're looking at a color. So, I mean, Muhammad Ali was a guy that, and I love like his story because he didn't care about that. He just wanted to be around good people, but he did represent for the culture. And I want more African American owned tennis shoe companies. I don't want this just to be me. I want so many different product brands owned by us, but making it for everybody. Think about it. When other cultures make products, they don't make it for them. They make it for everybody. And so I want that mindset about people. If I could change that, that's the way we're going to bridge the wealth gap.
What's been the biggest negative surprise of it all? The biggest negative surprise of the stardom?
Our people can't work together. Think about when I go down Rodale Drive and see all these stores. They're owned by all the same kind of looking people. None of them fighting. None of them caring about what each other have or got. And I love that. I want to see that for our culture and our people. That's why I fight to educate our culture and our people. Because we got to get on that page. Like, if we get on that page, we're going to be dangerous because we spend $1 trillion a year.
2.1 trillion.
2.1 trillion. Think about it. And we don't own nothing. And we...
Like another example, my older brother, that's why he wanted to get a car. I'm like, okay, get you a car, no problem. But he wanted to get a car before he get his driver license. I'm like, bro, you gotta do things decent in order. Get your driving license and then get you a car. He want to do everything just the opposite, crazy stuff, man. And that's sad because they not just how he think. Most of the people out here think like that. Get the house first with no job, no money. How you get? You gotta get you a job. Some type of income, some type of capital, some type of something to get you ahead, a foundation. He's gonna be hard-headed.
Make 0.1% of black CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, but we spending all the money.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Now, what Master P said there, right, was that black people, one of the biggest problems that we have when it comes to business and entrepreneurship is the victimhood mentality, right?
So for me, I ended up getting my barber license and security license. I finished high school, went to college. He decided to do everything else, be in the streets. And then when I blame the world, I'm like, dude, you stay out the streets, things won't happen to you. But you won't keep on blaming everybody else. Victim mentality. And you have to be a victim. The situation for me, I'm like, dude, you stay with the family. You got a chance to meet your aunties and uncles. Me and everybody else, we have to grow up knowing other people. Then eventually we met our family as we got older. So for me, I'm letting you guys know, there ain't no excuse. I ain't no victim, none of that stuff. Period. I don't understand why people want to be victims anyway. Or just be held by anything that holds them down. Like, you don't have to be held down. God is real. Jesus is real. That's why I quit drinking. I ain't got to do no damn AA meeting to quit drinking. I just stopped. I'm like, okay, God, you know what? You're right. I'm done. And that was it. I didn't want to know prayer closet, all everything, all that weird stuff. I mean, by all means, pray. Get in the prayer closet and pray. By all means, do that. What I'm saying is, situations where it's like drinking, it's easy to stop. Smoking weed is easy to stop. It's all about renewing the mind. If you don't think about it, you're good to go. My wife, she still sips every now and then. We still go out and kick it. We still go to the bar. I'll give me a Red Bull and cranberry juice. I'm cool. Or just cranberry juice. Or nothing at all. I let her do her thing. And thinking about it is by me not even drinking. She don't even drink. So it's like, it's even better on both ends. Yep. I'm a barber. Barber on the west side of Chicago at the time, on Madison and Laramie. And I did security all through Chicago, downtown, up north, south side, like downtown at the Beam when it came down to certain events. Especially during COVID. I made a lot of money during COVID doing security, all these events. It was funny seeing people outside with their mask on. They go up under a tent with their mask off, and I go up under the tent with the mask on, and then go right back out. It was a stupid process. Like, you're still outside regardless.
Is thinking that your skin color is holding you back, harping on slavery, right? Trying to be obsessed with things that you can't change that happened in the past, and that's holding black people back. Now, I personally didn't see much wrong with what he said in regards to that, but apparently some pro-blackities did. So now they're boo-hoo-whining and crying. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
I swear, every time these famous people open their mouth, they show us two things. One, a lot of them are very lacking in intelligence. Like, you can literally tell a lot of these famous people are not smart. And two, they always have something to say that's some colonizer bullshit. Now, we've got people, we're finding black women and men being strange fruited left and right. We've got Nolan Wells.
And they all done it to themselves. They all wrote letters, and they all told relatives they was having issues. And a few times they tried to unalive themselves, and it wasn't successful. And then eventually, they became successful unaliving themselves. They told people, and people knew about it. But once again, nobody doing no research. What she just said right there was just BS. Somebody will take it like, oh yeah, they are unaliving each other. Strange fruit. They are unaliving themselves. No white people out here grabbing up black people and snatching up on the back of a truck or van and then put them on a tree. These people have issues of their own. They hung themselves. He said the bullshit. Yeah, the 6 feet rule was BS anyway. It supposed to been like 24 feet or even longer. But they made it where it's 6 feet so people be comfortable coming to the stores.
Situation. We got Carmelo Anthony's situation. And all these rich, famous black people are mute mouth and ain't saying a damn word about none of this stuff that's going on. They ain't talking about the fact that...
That's how you know she's full of shit too. Because just yesterday, you know what I'm saying, 17 people got shot at and 4 on the live. No outrage. Not even on the news that much. Only on Channel 7 News, ABC News in Chicago. That's far as it probably went. Channel 7 News, and that was it. But she wasn't talking about rarely if a white person even hangs somebody or kills somebody. But no outrage when it's black on black. But black lives supposed to matter. Insane.
People's food is being poisoned because they have chefs and access. They're not talking about the fact that Gary, Indiana has no power. But you'll get on these podcasts and talk about how we need to stop talking about slavery because get out of the negative mindset. Talking about slavery is not a negative mindset. If anything, it's a mindset of us understanding and knowing what our people went through and knowing we're never going back there. It's actually empowering to know our people fought hard for us to have things, and we have to continue that fight.
The Constitution is designed where we're not going to go back. We're good. Oh my goodness. No research on the Constitution.
Not talking about is doing what white people want to do and sweep it under the rug like it didn't happen. But the reality is we are still suffering the effects of slavery today. And when y'all want to get in the comments talking about, well, I didn't own slaves and I didn't benefit, you did benefit. You benefited because when enslaved people were freed, everyone who owned slaves, all these white enslavers, they got paid reparations for every single loss of property.
See, no research. Abraham Lincoln had reparations for the slaves, but he got assassinated, and I think it was Andrew Johnson, a Democrat, pushed it down, got rid of it, and he got impeached. But the blacks still voted Democrat still. I'm looking, how you guys vote for Republican, and then Abraham Lincoln get assassinated, you guys start voting for Democrat, and kept going, and kept going. It's like, the Democrat Party snatched away you guys' reparation. Oh, well, that's cool. I'm still going to vote for him. No, he snatched away you guys' reparations. What is you doing? I'm going to still go vote for him. Stupid. Still going to vote Democrat. The man snatched away reparations. 40 acres in the mule. For thousands. Snatched it away.
which was the loss of the enslaved people. So you got paid per head, like we were still a material item. Number two, because of that, because of then laws and rules and redlining and keeping black people from being able to buy homes, keeping black people from being able to be in banking, all of the things that y'all did to try to keep black people from having the same opportunities are why we continue to stay behind.
You silly
All
because
started
we
with
want to troll
slavery.
them because of that. You
And to
silly.
this day, we still don't have the same rights. Y'all can think that we do, but we've seen it play out in the justice system. We've seen it played out in corporate America. We see it played out daily where black people still don't have the same access and the same privileges as white people. So to say let's stop talking about it and acting like we're all equal and we're not is tone deaf as fuck and actually continues to show how y'all need to just shut up. If you're not going to say anything that is positive for our people, then just be quiet. Because you clearly don't read books, you don't know history, and you're just someone who got lucky and made it because you had a modicum of talent and a lot of will. But at the end of the day, if you didn't have that and weren't ready to be able to step and fetch it for white entertainment, you would not be where you were today. Just be quiet.
Wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Only in Black America can a rapper get backlash for telling black people, hey, let's stop focusing on victimhood. Let's actually focus on, things that can help us be successful, right? That is not about skin color and race. It's about, selling a good product, good service, having some integrity. And somehow this turns into a, controversy, right? Because apparently we're supposed to be obsessed with slavery, right? We're supposed to, boo-hoo, whine, and cry every single day about what the white man did to us, right? While at the same time, you have all these black people who are getting after it, right? They are becoming successful. And one of the people who became successful is telling you, hey, I didn't have that mindset, right? I didn't have that mindset of boo-hoo, whine, and cry about slavery every day. In fact, I don't know any black person that's successful with that mindset outside of those who race hustle for a living. Now, if you race hustle for a living, boo-hoo, whine, and cry about slavery is how you make money, right? But if you don't race hustle for a living, I'm not entirely sure how you can be successful, right? You can be a successful business person or whatever, thinking about slavery, right? Thinking about victimhood all day long. But again, apparently this is very triggering.
A lot of y'all, I look up to Master P, don't get me wrong. As an entrepreneur myself and trying to start my own business and do everything by myself, I look up to P, right? But this is the type of shit that capitalism does to people, bro. Look at this right here, bro. We still suffer the consequences of slavery and Jim Crow to this fucking day. Look who's fucking president, bro.
Is that your evidence and proof that we are suffering the consequences of Jim Crow slavery, that Trump is president? Again, notice how these people continue to tell us that we're still suffering from the consequences of slavery. But I'm trying to figure out exactly what element of slavery, right, is now holding you back today, right? In your personal life, my friend. What about slavery is holding you back, right? What would you have that you don't have if it wasn't for slavery? In fact, if it wasn't for slavery, you would be here. You'd be in Africa, right? Probably at the bottom of the totem pole, because let's be real. The slaves that came over here, right, that the black Africans sold to the white man, right, let's be real, they were at the bottom. Right? So I'm just saying that I'm not sure if your life would be much better in Africa, but I'm trying to figure out exactly what is it about slavery that's holding this guy back.
What's holding him back, you guys?
What about slavery is holding this dude back? Nothing about slavery is holding any black person back at all. Not in today's society. Not with all the opportunity, not with all the technology, not with all the knowledge at your fingertips, all the resources. Like, come on. I mean, seriously. I honestly think these people who are obsessed with slavery are just losing in life, and they want something to blame, right? Because they don't want to blame themselves.
Like, he's so out of...
White black guy not right. Notice the black liberals never asked Africans for reparations, right? And the Africans never came to save us. Or save, our ancestors back then. But the whole world was slaves. Slavery still going on now in Africa. Still going on. Was it a million people?
Reality, out of touch with reality, yo. Like, bro, do y'all not see what the fuck going on right now, bro? That doesn't mean that you can't move forward and progress, but I'm never gonna forget that shit, yo. Until it's completely eradicated.
You never gonna forget about slavery. You never experienced slavery. So I don't know exactly how much of slavery you remember because you never went through it.
Because racism and white
He must
supremacy
have picked the cards. He must have got
is not
whipped.
eradicated. Slavery still fucking exists. Exploitation of
And people still think Roots was real. Like, dude, Alex Haley was bogus as hell. It was a good. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret it. How I'm gonna put it. But Alex Haley, he put Roots out, wrote the book about Roots, but people thought Roots was real, but it's not. Because Kinte is fake. Chicken George, all that.
labor still exists, not just in America. Let me tell y'all something, man. Let's look at these so-called developed nations, right? And let's look at these undeveloped, quote-unquote, nations. Look at the population of the people there. Guess what? How these countries became so rich is by exploiting those nations, which happen to be people of color. To this day, still to this day. I'm not forgetting, bro. I'm never going to forget until we eradicate white supremacy.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
I rock with P. I had to watch that interview again, and I'm like, bro, did P have an agenda here, bro? The tone of the interview, P was just kept going to what black people are doing wrong, and black people need to stop worrying about this, and black people need to stop worrying about that. Yes, we have institutional problems where we should own the things that we use and we have. He's 100% right about that. But every time P just kept making himself this hero to black people, and we should just always listen to him. I'm not saying P doesn't want the best for black people, but P sounded crazy as hell telling black people to get over slavery. Color don't matter.
Dragon,
and
what's
just
up?
because he did it, we can do it. Bruh,
McDungeon,
he
not that
had
from
P
Dragon.
started off
Dungeon,
with
how
an
you doing?
inheritance from his grandfather, which was dope of his grandfather, but that's how you got your bread to start your label, and you became a rapper, bro. That's not gonna be everybody's path. You understand? And not even just that. Sometimes they just get so much money and they be so removed from the culture, they just start saying shit that lets you know they're not connected no more, bro. Saying stuff like "get over that" and "get." Are you gonna tell them about the cool P? Hell no, P ain't finna say that. So I'm sure. I ain't even gotta say I'm sure. I know P has done great work for black people, but at the same time, we know when they done told you to go out there and tell us some shit. And P, it sounds like they told you to calm us down. What do we need to calm down for?
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Again, I'm trying to figure out why this is so controversial. I think that he was essentially saying, hey, with a victimhood mentality, you can't be successful. And I 100% agree with that. You can't, right? There are times when I wanted to be the victim, right? When I wanted to feel bad for myself because things weren't going my way. But I couldn't do that, right? The only thing that I could do is basically get
Keep
over
moving
it,
forward.
right? And just keep it moving, right? And to keep grinding and to work harder. And you need that type of grit in order to be successful in this country. And the only thing that he's saying is that, hey, you got to get out of this mindset of woe is me, right? Thinking about, what happened to black people in the past and focus on why we can't, and just, focus on what you can do, right? What you can achieve, because it's possible. And he's using himself as an example of that. And again, I'm not entirely sure what was so controversial about it, but, I think the fact that he is getting some backlash for this, enough backlash to actually respond to it, tells you everything you need to know about why black people are at the bottom, right? It's because stuff like this, for whatever reason, is controversial, even though I think that it's pretty solid, right? Pretty solid advice. Get over slavery. It's not about race.
And like when I wrote my first book about the Iron Triangle, I was talking about preachers like Jamal Bryant. I said in Iron Triangle, most black preachers, most black politicians, most black civil rights workers are the ones that are destroying black America. It ain't white Christian conservatives. White liberals use these people as conduits between them and the black community. And their job is to keep the black community under absolute
Thank you,
power
guys. We are
for white
growing.
liberals in the Democratic Party.
2,333. Thank you. Like,
Believe me when I tell you that Mark Warner, who was running
1.4
for Senate this year in the state of Virginia,
Thank you.
Mark is going to be sending the Iron Triangle. He's going to be sending the black preachers, NAACP, and a bunch of black politicians. Democrat politicians to go do his dirty work for him. And they're going to do it well. He's going to pay them. He's going to get 90% of the black vote, and the people ain't going to know why. He's going to get it because they told him to. And Jamal Bryant is in that clique. He gets paid to stir up trouble. He and his other justice brother Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, that's what they do for a living. They use the pulpit for power. And you can look at Atlanta and see what I'm talking about. The tree is known by the fruit it bears. Atlanta is, they used to call it ATL, now they call it ATL. They have a mayor down there. You know, Atlanta is supposed to be the black gay capital of the world. And they got a mayor down there named Andre Dickens.
Hey everybody, this is Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, and I'm here to say Happy Pride, Atlanta. What a great day. The Atlanta Weather Department has us shining bright, and I'm seeing everybody come out here and express themselves and show their unity, show that this is an inclusive city, a welcoming city. I'm so thankful to the Pride Committee and all the team members that made this day possible. This is my 10th year celebrating the Pride Parade and coming out here having a great time. We got a big float for the mayor's office. All of us are going to be out here, and hey, we are doing this having unity with pride today in the ATL.
Can't make it up, player. Let's ask you the boy's name. Mayor of Atlanta. Gay capital of the world. Last name Dickens. I'm not cursing. I'm not cursing.
God have mercy upon us.
But he matches with Jamal Bryant. This dude got all he has the nerves to walk up here and tell black women that they are not paying enough. Like, yeah, pimp. Y'all ain't paying y'all times. You short this. You short. You want my money. And the sad thing is, they was, oh, I'm sorry, Big Daddy. I'll make up for it tomorrow. Lord have mercy. But this is part of your Democratic Party. This is what they do. And they're not going to stop until you make them. Why did the founding fathers in America have slaves? Why did black men allow themselves to be slaves? That's my question. Now why? Don't I pick cotton for the white man, but my great-great-grandfather did. You know what? I refuse. And if you try to make me, I'm going to bust a cap in your head. Black people begging to be included in places where they will not want it. It is unchristian. It is unmanly. The Christian man never be anywhere where he's not wanted, or anywhere where he's really tolerated. Any place that makes him feel small. If I'm not invited, I don't want to be there. And this is what you get from it. Ridicule and pity. And I'm scared. Scared. Never me.
Ricky smell you scared. The man can't stop wearing a dress. That's why he's scared. Stop it, Ricky. Stop wearing them damn dresses.
As I've said before, there are two types of men. One that says that I will accept slavery before death, and the other one that says I will accept death before slavery. You had a choice. Kill him or die.
Vince be coming with you guys.
Always.
Leonard Everson. He be
Kill
coming
him
with
or die. Slave is a choice. So again, Jamal Bryant.
What cops come to? What are you talking about? What's up, Peter Johnson?
If ever you ever doubt
come to
how
who
messed
house?
up the black community is and the black church is, all you got to do is just, before the week is out, just go and listen to Stillbirth. And Jamal
Peter
Bryant
Johnson
is going to
he's an
highlight
idiot, I
something.
see. Welcome to the chat. Fuck
He's
you,
going to do something. He don't even know it.
What cops come to people who house? If you're not a criminal, not doing anything stupid, why would the cops come to your house? That was stupid. Welcome to the chat. Named Deontay Ransom Rave. Also known as Deontay Ransom Rave Podcast Show. Let's get it.
To show America just how jacked up it is. And it all comes from Joe, because he's a microcosm. You can turn on damn near every black preacher on Sunday morning, and they Jamal Bryant. Black liberation theology. Talking about black people are victims. Talking about how we got to all stay together as a collective, when that's ridiculous bullcrap.
Peter Puffer, that's a good one. I like that. Peter Puffer.
Lying about being oppressed when you're a child of God in the name of Jesus Christ. Lying about white supremacy when there's no white man superior to me. If he is, show him to me. I haven't met one. He doesn't exist. I've walked to some of the biggest colleges and universities in America and walked up and say, okay, y'all believe in white supremacy. Yeah, but show me the white man superior.
That's right, Maj. You guys, I trust you guys. You're going to break them down and build them right back up the right way. You know what I'm saying? If you ban them, put them out, time them out, I don't care. They're going to come back anyway. They love this channel. They love us in the chat. They can't get enough of this chat. They be hitting me up. Why I get banned? Why they be blocking my comments? Because it's stupid. And then, did you like the channel? Have you subscribed to the channel? Have you even donated to the channel? The channel is monetized. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you out of here. The mods banned you, what times you out, it is what it is. Tired of you guys crying and these victimhood stuff. Let it go.
To me. We're going to put that to the test. And you see how nervous they all get when they see they got the face and there of Jesus Christ, child of God, a man that knows his power, and looks him in the eye and says, show me your superiority, player.
Mr. Good Citizen, how you doing?
They immediately start looking at their feet because they cannot look me in my eye. They have me mistaken for a Negro like Jamal Bryant, and I'm not that.
And for me, it's in Chicago, I did armed security in Chicago. I was friends with all the cops, all the races with the cops, no problems. I had my gun like they had their gun. We had a good conversation talking about our guns and how many bullets it holds, hollow points, hydros, full metal jacket. Good conversation about bullets and what gun range to go to, what discount on certain guns. You know what I'm saying? Good conversation with the cops. It's all about how you approach people. Are you approachable? Everything good? Good citizen. Waking up these libtards. Getting them together.
Turning these men of Jesus Christ, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, look at who they are. We're going to turn them into real men.
To do it. I don't know what to do. You can act like a man. What's the matter with you? Is this how you turn out a Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman?
As you guys keep on seeing it on the screen, my Facebook page is blowing up. I got maybe 5,100 followers on Facebook in the last few days. Wasn't expecting that to jump that fast. Appreciate you guys.
What can I do? What can I do?
Men to understand the power of stepping out in the name of God, with the full armor of God on him, and us staring down these false prophets and these antichrists and running them out of our community. That's how we save it. That's how we men save it. We confront and we mock it. And that's what I do. Every single Saturday.
I be posting political memes with a little music background to it. Yeah, I feel you. I'm a content curator. I wasn't expecting to be doing all this. I got tired of the BS. With my family talking crazy, being victims and friends and all that. Like, no, I can't be around these people. So I'm glad I moved to Rockford, not in Chicago. They still stuck in the past. But yeah, I'm using the platform to get the truth out there. Waking people up. Stop being victims. Make accountability great again.
single solitary day because I'm here to work it. I hope I did you some good here today. So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show.
I'm April Chapman.
And I'm Vince Everett Ellison. There's a victim narrative here in the United States of America that says you have no control over your lives, no control over your agency. And they're basically saying that you're an animal, you're a slave. I don't believe that. As an heir of Jesus Christ, as a child of God, I cannot be oppressed. I cannot be a victim. I do not think I am, nor do I think that any American ever has been, or any person. Even when it comes to slavery, I believe, and I think they will hold true, that slavery was a choice. You know why I know? Because people are choosing to be slaves now. Or any American is held under bondage without their permission.
Just remember to laugh at the end of the day. 'Cause you can't make this stuff up, no you can't. Life's a comedy show that's beautifully slant. When you're finally feeling okay, just remember to laugh at the
If you were so damn good, hell, white people would have moved to Africa rather than coming from England to America, because y'all would have built up Africa like a damn Taj Mahal. There would have been a damn Taj Mahal, an Eiffel Tower, and every damn thing else would have been over there in Africa.
Sorry about that, you guys. Every now and then when I switch from YouTube to Facebook or Instagram, it tends to lose connection. Sorry about that.
And this is what they do, y'all. Listen, please hear me. No drug dealer says he's a drug dealer. He's gonna say, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an independent businessman. No criminal says he's a criminal. The Democrats are socialists. They are communists. They are atheists because they understand that the only thing that keeps communism and atheism and communism and socialism from coming to America is the fact that we're Christians. Christianity is the antidote to communism. Because the Christian work ethic means if you don't work, you don't eat. You earn. That's what it means. That if you go out there and you earn, that means you're giving something back to society. A carpenter gives back. A farmer feeds people. A doctor heals people. A chef feeds people in his restaurant. HVAC man keeps you comfortable. Everybody that goes out there and earns money does something and gives it back to society. This is why you earn. People that are in the arts make people happy. They teach them. They make them laugh. They give them joy. Every role that goes out there and earns money, except for the ones that are in negative growth, which are the criminals, but they're still giving something to society that society wants, whether it be, prostitution, whether it be drugs, stealing. And this is why we look down on those behaviors, because they hurt society. They don't help society. You get paid to hurt people. And that's usually what the Democratic Party is doing. They're doing things to hurt people. Like the mafia. People don't mind paying their taxes, but nobody wants to, like me, nobody wants to pay their taxes. And they're going to work early in the morning time in the snow, and they see a guy sitting at home beside his fireplace with his feet on the furniture, chilling, because he's on some type of government assistance and doesn't help wanted sign right there down the road. He won't go do the job. You got a Hispanic doing it. No, people don't want that. You're working to pay your high insurance, and this guy's getting free insurance and doesn't have a job. No, you don't want that. But the Democrats do. There are like 200-300 different forms of birth control. Everybody in the world know where babies come from unless you're 5 years old. And yet you have women that decide that they want to lay down with a man that doesn't care anything about them, without protection, get pregnant, and they think the baby should pay to it up until the 9th month. And people are saying, that's not right. Be responsible. Marry before you carry, or at least be in love with the person that you lay down with so that if you do get pregnant, you're going to get married and take care of the child. Damn, that's too much to ask for now.
That's
Well,
most like right.
And then kill the child when you get caught up in it. That's not right. And people are getting tired of it. And then, worse than that, you're going to make us pay for it through Medicaid, Medicare, the abortion. Why did the founding fathers in America have slaves? Why did black men allow themselves to be slaves? That's my question. Now, why? Don't I pick cotton for the white man, but my great-great-grandfather did. You know what? I refuse. And if you try to make me, I'm going to bust a cap in your head. Black people begging to be included in places where they will not want it. It is unchristian. It is unmanly. The Christian man never be anywhere where he's not wanted, or anywhere where he's really tolerated. Any place that makes him feel small. If I'm not invited, I don't want to be there. And this is what you get from it: ridicule and pity. And I'm scared. Scared. Never me. As I've said before, there are two types of men. One that says that I will accept slavery before death, and the other one that says I will accept death before slavery. You had a choice. Kill him or die. That's the choice. Always. Kill him or die. Slavery is a choice. People don't like this. They want to be able to pray to their God when they want to, and you're putting restrictions on it. Why? Because you have to have atheism in America for you to be successful. Because you believe in Jesus Christ, you don't believe in government. So this is why God is not allowed in the public school system. And that's pretty ironic. Think about this. The founding document of this country, the Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution, the Declaration. The whole concept of the being of the United States of America says that our rights come from God. They're irrevocable, non-transferable, and unsellable. They're unalienable rights. And we use that logic and that philosophy to tell King George, you are no longer sovereign over us because our rights come from God. Now, in the public educational system, you can't call his name. The very government that says our rights come from him, that government now says you can't call his name in the public educational system that's supposed to teach you to love America. How does that work? We are carbon-based life forms that believe in they have to have oxygen to survive. And you're going to deprive us of that? Depriving the American psyche of God is like depriving the human body of oxygen. Our rights come from him. You must learn about him in order to understand that. And the atheist and the Democratic Party wants to take that away, so you'll turn the government. And they've been lying about it. No. You can pray. No, you can't. We ain't pulling porn out and putting the Bible out of libraries, putting porn in. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Hi, my name's Knox Zajac. I'm 11 years old, and I go to Wyndham Middle School. I'm a 6th grader. I was in the library, and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I ask if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. I don't know if it's because we're feeling especially emotional or just tired, or these past couple of weeks have been too much. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good, because we were a mess of emotions, and we were scared and excited, and everything felt new. So this sort of feels like that. Nick touches me like he's scared that any minute. Now, this book was at my middle school, and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
They lie all the time. Don't nobody believe in 9-month abortion? Yes, you do. AOC and outside Ed and Francesca Hahn told everybody. Yes, and you guys whacked them. So, Francesca, I'm telling you, and you probably know this, that little guy that beat you, what's his name? David Crowley. Little, short, ugly guy. Black guy. He dropped out the race, y'all. He had dropped out of the race. And they went and found him and pulled him back in. They said, man, don't worry about this. No, we got you. We got you. Dude, even at the campaign, they had this Francesca Hahn woman, 20 points ahead. And this guy won. And he won it in Milwaukee. But the Democrats have been stealing elections like they stole it from Trump in 2020. So,
it's sad, Dakota.
You are Democrat socialist. I kind of feel bad for you because it's some of you got through. When Outside Ed got through, they all lost their mind now. Outside Ed standing up there with this Hassan Piker, and this dude's talking about we deserve 9/11 and that these women getting raped in Israel when Hamas came through wasn't a big deal. Yeah, that guy. That's who the Democrat Party is siding with now. And none of the Democrats are, none of the Democrats in office are disavowing this. Because that's who they are. So that's finally going to DNC. And they're going to start trying to steal these elections from these Democrat socialists because they've been winning them straight up. So now they got to catch up. And they are stacking the deck against y'all. So y'all get ready for it.
Amazing.
Finally, dare I say, the Democrats are starting to get just a little bit smart. If that's even possible. I mean, like, we're going out on a limb here. Woo! There's my shot. Now we know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it is really good to have you guys here. If you have not subscribed, do me the favor. Make sure you subscribe to the
Boomerang, fuck your feelings. Welcome to the chat. He said, I'm Uncle Ruckus. I'll be Uncle Ruckus. Welcome to the chat. Name is Deontay. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Watch the video.
show. Really, really important. Especially now. Gosh, it's been hard. It's been hard always to, to get through, to break through. And I think that has a little something to do with an election coming up anyway. Democrats finally waking up.
So you sound for a bit, no problem.
Recognizing that they need to kick a certain somebody and a certain, a few somebodies out of the party. And by somebodies, I mean the pack of fools, as James Carville is referring them to. You know Carville, right? The mouth from the south. Oh, no, wait. I think he's the Raging Cajun or whatever they're calling him. Anyway, he's the guy who really has been kind of a big shot in the party for quite some time. And he, together with some others like Rahm Emanuel, et cetera, they are going on and on about how they need to basically rid themselves of all of these nut jobs. And believe me, they're nut jobs. And we'll get to Carville, but before I do, I want to give you the proof. You need to know how bad these people really and truly are. For example, I found this little one. They're talking about how much they hate the Constitution, how they need to have a revolution. Yeah, they hate this country. They hate the Constitution. They hate everything America. Just watch it so you know what we're up against.
Goal. So the two things that we're famous for is our commitment to a program and our hatred of the United States Constitution.
Now, he
and what the
upset that
program
Democrat
does is it gives us a roadmap to revolution, and it gives us the obstacle that we finally will have to get over to have a revolution, which is the United States Constitution, basis of the United States government. And what the minimum maximum program specifically, what that format specifically gives us is that roadmap. It gives us the minimum circumstances under which we would be able to take power and govern, and it gives us the maximum program, which is the goals that we're actually aiming.
Good one, black guy. Imagine a black guy calling you Uncle Ruckus, but he's the only one who's afraid of white people. How dumb. Yeah, he's the only one that's afraid of white supremacy, white people holding him down. Insane. Nobody's holding nobody down. Only yourself.
For it also clarifies democracy as both the end goal and as part of the process to get there ensures the internal party democracy that we want to see in DSA. So it really wraps up the revolutionary tradition of democracy that I think socialism and abolitionism in the United States have always been a part of.
Crazy.
And aims it, at a future that we can live in.
That's why now, you know what I'm saying, now in my chat, I'll be saying to you guys, but not to you guys, to them, I'm saying F your feelings. Because obviously they don't, there's no need to have your feelings with these people. Or losing your mind trying to convince them. Just present it to them and go from there. And like I say, when it comes to chat, time them out, block them, because they'll be back. And eventually they'll learn.
As a human species, because I think absent a revolutionary democratic socialist republic in North America, we may not have a livable future.
Okay. Yeah, we won't have a livable future if you guys actually see the light of day. I mean, these people are honestly nuts. And I love how they try and hide behind this intellectualism, right? They're like, oh, we're so smart, we're so smart. And, we want to go full-on commie. I mean, their problem, they tend to be violent. I don't know if you saw the news about the guy who was going after Besant today. Yeah, he's in big trouble. There was some kind of trans nut job that was going after Besant and wanted to take him out. So, there's a, dare I say, sort of a thread of commonality here amongst these DSA radicals, amongst the Antifa types. And I think it's quite dangerous for our country, period, full stop. But they're everywhere. By the way, if you're just tuning in, remember to subscribe, share, like. They're everywhere. They're even in Florida, even in good old healthy red Florida. You got this guy, Elijah Manley. He's running for a congressional seat there. And I want you to hear him talking to Martha McCann.
Clayton, you back, Clayton? All right. Welcome back. That's what's up. Clayton back. Got kicked out and he came back. That's what's up. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Helen over on Fox. And the look on her face as he's about to say what he says kind of says it all.
I've spent time with ICE agents in Texas. They're hardworking. They're upholding the laws that exist on the books, that if you enter the country illegally, and especially if you have a criminal record or a detainer against you, you have to be removed. And when they wake up in the morning and they show up at work, they have assignments that are given to them to remove people who are criminal or who have remove orders against them. Do you have any problem with someone who fits that criteria being apprehended and removed from our country?
Well, I just don't think it's a good idea to take someone.
Hey, Clayton, you were about how many people in the chat? Well, I know what I see. I see 3,500 views on my end. Almost 4,000 views.
Who committed a murder and say, go back home and live free and enjoy the rest of your life. If someone comes to this country and they commit murder or violence, we have American jails that we can put them in and make sure they never see daylight again.
Because we're just going to keep them here and we're going to make you pay for it, right? Like, heck, why not? Why not bring the entire world? Why can't we be like Spain? Hey, Ceuta, you're looking pretty good right about now to these jokers. Right? We'll just keep bringing them here one after.
This will be the last video with Trish. So I get myself ready for Tony later on. So I can go live with him 6:30, you guys. So this will be the last video. It's about, 6 more minutes left.
Another, you commit a crime, no worries. You get 3 squares a day for the rest of your life, courtesy of Uncle Sam and all us crazy, stupid U.S. taxpayers, because we elect morons like you, okay? Wow. Yeah, the Democrat Party needs to, clean house really fast. And not just this guy down in Florida, not just the nutty woman out there, she's from Ethiopia and Colorado that says we just need more people from the global South coming here so that we can take down the tyranny that is the United States of America. Not just these folks, but also El Sayed, who's getting all kinds of traction. Abdul Sayed out in Michigan. This is a guy who hates America. This is a guy who hates Israel. This is a guy who loves Palestine. And this is a guy who wants to take away your health care so that it becomes state-run. That'll go over real well. Yeah, they'll have government-run health care just like they have government-run daycares out there in Minnesota. We'll make Michigan just like Minnesota. I'm sorry, this guy is not good. He's bad news. Abdullah El Sayed wants to be in charge of your health care. I don't know if you'll get to live under him.
What Medicare for All does is it does away with the private insurance market, right? It now has one single payer. That's why we call it single payer.
Yeah. With this Abdul Shaheed, this guy wants Sharia law in America. And I played a video yesterday, and probably this weekend. You know what I'm saying? He don't want this video to be circulated. But he's advocating for Sharia law. That's why this guy should not be in power at all. Keep the third world BS over there. Leave the Constitution alone.
Right? One insurance, and that is the government of the United States.
Yeah. Okay. So, at least he's not hiding it. It's right out there in the open, everyone. El Sayed said he wants one team and one team only. No corporations, no private markets, just the government of the United States of America running your healthcare. Good luck with that. I mean, good luck. I'm overseas in the UK. You want to talk about bad healthcare? Try the UK, all right? You're going to wait in line for everything. You want to get a certain test? Your doctor thinks you need a certain test? Good luck with that. It's whether or not people like El Sayed think that you qualify for it. This is one of the things that Natalie...
Right, that's why my channel is about to expose themselves. You know what I'm saying? Expose the BS with these DSA. Expose them all. AOC, Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Abdul Rashid, Hassan Piker, all these people, man. I'm trying to expose them all so people won't vote for them. But these doggone libtards keep on talking about TDS. Like, dude, it's not about it's beyond TDS. It's a spiritual warfare going on. Literally good against evil.
Harp is so upset about. You know that name, Natalie Harp? The one that John Ossoff is trying to bring up? Lovely young woman who works for the president, and he helped save her life thanks to healthcare policy that made sense. We're going to talk about that today, but you look at El Sayed and these jihadists, as the president is now referring to them, and you understand the Democrats really want these people gone. They want them out of the party for good because it's just too easy. I mean, honestly, hey, Hillary Clinton did say it was smart politics, right? Because the right, she said, was sort of on to something with this narrative of communism, this narrative of socialism. And by the way, we don't even have to make it up. We're not coming up with anything, right? It's right there out for the pickings. El Sayed just said what he said. The Florida guy saying, hey, why do we have to send anybody home? They commit a crime, keep them here. 3 squares a day. You got all of these people saying stupid thing after stupid thing.
Yeah, respect the ladies in the chat. Even myself. I apologize. If I get too graphic, forgive me too. Respect the ladies in the chat. Yep.
After stupid thing. And by the way, they love going out into the media and saying all these stupid things. You get Ma'am Dami, who's a disaster on steroids. And by the way, doesn't get anything done, can't get anything done because all of his policies, you know what? Suck. Okay? They suck. All right? And that communist grocery store, forget about it. You think you want the government in the business of running a grocery store? For goodness sakes. Hey, it's been tried all over Eastern Europe. who's been tried in the USSR, was tried in Vietnam, they tried it in Venezuela. It didn't work out so well. Anyway, Carville knows this, and this is why he went on Fox last night, and he said to Jesse, you know what? They're a pack of fools. They're out. He's done with them. He doesn't even think they're relevant anymore. I got news for him. They kind of are.
I'm worried about the Democrats right now. I'm not. We're going to win the House.
You're not worried about the communists taking over the party?
No, they're a bunch of silly people. Those people you had on there, those DSA people, they're a pack of fools. So no one pays attention to them. They're going to do anything. Now, you asked me about AOC. I do think she's very talented. She's certainly to the left of me, but you know what she's doing? What I think good politicians do, she's growing into the job. She's not the same person she was when she was elected in 2018.
Woo, 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 woo. Okay. Now, why would he say that? Oh, it might be because she said woke one was crazy, right? She's been trying to distance herself from woke one to crazy woke one. I mean, actually, I happen to think that woke two is even crazier. As I've said, certifiable now. Woke one was bad. Woke two is bad. Woke two is the rise of all these fools and crazy people out there. So, of course, she's trying to distance herself because, you know, she's running ahead up in New Hampshire, although New Hampshire may not get its primary first in the nation if the Democrat Party has anything to say about it. You see, they don't like all those white people in New Hampshire having the most say, so they want to send it down to South Carolina, which they feel would be more representative, perhaps, of their party as a live free or die native. I beg to differ. I think New Hampshire's kind of a good place. And AOC's kind of running ahead. So AOC's looking at it and she's like, okay, I can't be that crazy. I mean, if I'm going to win New Hampshire, which, yeah, I know, like all those, you know, we like to.
They don't want these.
There wasn't no trouble, Lauren. No honey badgers. No honey badgers. Wasn't no trouble. There wasn't no trouble. All right, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end it for this. Appreciate you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Love each other. Love all. And God bless. God is in control. Catch you guys at 6:30. Later.